Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey!
It feels like October in Cleveland, doesn't
Wow.
it? It feels like October, not just because the weather is kind of crisp and clear,
Yeah.
but because baseball is in the air.
Who would have thought
Not
on
me.
September 24th we'd be starting a show with baseball? I didn't think
Crazy.
that.
Garrett and I thought about just taking a knee today.
We did. We said, yo,
We're out.
we
Are
gonna
you ready to
fair,
watch some tennis?
we gonna fair catch this boy.
We're going to get a fair
You were at
catch.
the game, though, so I want your insight
Crowd was
into
great,
the
right?
crowd
Before any
and
of that,
all
Well,
of that
before any of
stuff.
that, go ahead.
we just do a read so we can be uninterrupted.
Okay, go ahead.
We can get everything in. Guys,
Yeah.
we're getting right into the Guardians. And there was even no debate on what the start of today's show should be. No one was like, guys, it's a Wednesday for Browns week coming off a big win. No, it is Guardians time. And the NFL season we know is here. Major League Baseball playoffs are gearing up. And FanDuel is making sure you're ready for everything with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? If you are, download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. Guys, the Guardians beat the Tigers. They beat Skubal and company for the second time in a week. And Dustin, you were there.
I was.
To witness the Guardians officially claw their way back into a tie, and due to the tiebreaker, a first-place position in the AL Central. Dustin, what was it like to be inside Progressive Field last night for that electric game?
It was incredible. You know, walking into the stadium, it felt like a playoff sort of vibe. You know, the lines to get in were pretty long. They went fast, but I mean, it was awesome.
What was the final announced attendance? 30,000?
30,000.
I think it was something like that, 29
Just,
or
I think it
30.
was 29, just short of 30.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
we had talked on the show
I said
Monday.
We were hoping for 25.
Yeah.
Jay said
Yeah.
he'd be a good crowd would have been 20. I'm like, no, that's a horrible crowd.
There was a huge walk-up.
yeah, big,
Huge.
bigger than expected.
Yes.
Which is good.
I think they sold 13,000 extra tickets like yesterday during the
That's
day.
amazing.
During the day.
And now
Insane.
today it'll be
told you
just
guys-
as much, if not more. I
Jay,
would
you
think.
weren't here yesterday. I was.
I'm
in
worried about
yesterday.
today because the threat of
Oh,
rain
the
is
weather.
in the
Yeah,
air.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean, yesterday turned into this perfect. Like
you
yesterday
did say
was
it.
like this
Gorgeous
at
day.
the same time, but then
Yep.
it got beautiful throughout.
Yeah,
throughout the rest
but
of
the
day.
forecast said it was going to get beautiful,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
everyone knew it would be
No,
nice at game time.
it was like the most perfect baseball evening ever. I mean, I took a jacket because I was like, oh, it's Cleveland. It's going to be in the 60s or 50s. I never needed it.
No.
I mean, I sat there. I was like, it was like literally 68 degrees. There was just everyone was so into the game. Everyone was so happy.
Yeah.
What was the vibe when, like, it was kind of like a heavyweight fight, kind of like a playoff game?
Yeah.
Each pitcher feeling one another out. It looked like they both had great stuff.
Yeah.
But what was was that first couple inning vibe like a playoff game all the way through?
It was really tense. And the thing I thought was fascinating is like I don't think I've ever stood that much at a baseball game where like you're literally on your feet.
Really?
Like
the whole time.
Yeah.
like just getting it. Basically from the time that things got, it was the sixth inning. Sixth
Yeah.
inning when things got really interesting.
From then
in
on.
that crazy inning. I mean, that was
That's a good word for it.
I mean,
Interesting.
yeah.
we got down 2-0 and
Yeah.
it got quiet for a minute.
Yeah.
But then things you start every time we got a base runner and something
Yeah, yeah.
happened, it was just you felt like the place started to get a little bit more electric. It was just really waiting to erupt, and then it did, man. The David Fry thing was again praying for the guy. I really hope he's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a really difficult
He
thing
was
to
taken
watch.
to the hospital and then
Went
transferred to
Lu-
Cleveland
Luther
Clinic
and then
where
to-
he was
Yeah.
kept
Yeah, they
overnight.
probably just took him across the bridge real fast to check it
That's
out.
rare to get hit that way
Yeah.
when you're bunting. Like, usually if a batter gets hit, it's usually kind of the side.
Yeah.
But he took it square.
Square in.
I was trying to see if it hit the bat, so maybe it slowed it up a little
didn't
bit.
look
I
like
don't
it.
think
No,
it did,
it was
though.
it was 99 right to the
Oh,
face.
And-
God.
and
Shouldn't we have got a base out of that?
No, it was a strike.
Because
he offered it.
He offered it to bunt. I wasn't thinking about that at first, and then somebody said it to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Technicality.
It has to be the worst strike in the history of
Oh,
the
my
game.
God,
Most
yeah.
painful.
There's never been a worse strike.
Most painful for
Skubal,
sure.
Yeah.
Skubal threw it, and when we saw it hit his face,
immediately.
he looked like he was distraught.
Yep.
I was just telling Jay, like, it kind of, I've never seen a pitcher like that kind of unravel under these little small, like the bunt singles. It just seemed like it just got to him after a while. Like he was just trying to make a huge play. Then you have the whole snap thing. Like it was crazy to me. But I said this. When I came in, I told Bull, I said, man, that's one of the most entertaining baseball games I've seen in a long time. Yeah. And because the whole first 6 innings, I'm sitting here thinking like, man, Gavin Williams is pitching his brains out right now, man. And we can't get no runs. And then the 6th inning comes around, and they find a way to get all them runs on nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
They did nothing to earn them.
Nothing.
Really. I mean, except for playing guards ball, they were aggressive.
Yeah.
They bunted well. They hustled.
Well, they ran the bases great, too.
That's the key to this team.
And that's something,
what a great picture.
The Guardians, like obviously they're really good teams, 16, 17, certainly in the 90s they had really good offensive clubs. But more recently, the Guardians have won with pitching, defense, and base running.
Yeah.
And occasional hitting. And they weren't doing that early in the season. The pitching wasn't very good.
No.
The defense wasn't very good. Even the base running, which is usually a complete staple of the team, was not very good. Well, all of a sudden this month, they've pitched great. They've run the bases great. They've played defense great.
It's almost like they woke up. and Stephen Vogt said, guys, it's getting late.
Yeah.
And we've got work to do. Yeah. And to your point, all of the things that they've done well in the past that have made them a playoff team,
yes,
that they had completely forgotten.
Yes.
All of a sudden, September 1st rolls around, and boom, there it is. And
it truly is, guys, like a Cinderella story, like in March Madness or something.
Yeah.
I mean, watching this run, it's like, I think the world's captivated by it. I mean, the sports world.
It's the biggest story in baseball.
There's nothing else going on right now. Like last night, it was like WNBA. I mean, you watching the playoffs in WNBA? Maybe you're watching that a little bit. I don't know if you're betting on it. I don't know. But I mean, I think that everyone's like, what is going on in Cleveland?
Yeah, the lead story on MLB Radio, both shows I listened to this morning,
and ESPN was it wasn't their lead, but it's a big story. They've been playing it as a big story for a week.
But here's the thing too. One quick note. We kind of shortchanged the Guardians a little bit because we kept talking yesterday how they were 10 games out on September 1st, but
the 10th.
They were actually 11 games out on September 4th.
Yeah, no.
So today is the 24th.
In 3 weeks.
That's
in
a couple
20
weeks.
days.
That's crazy.
They have cut an 11-game lead to 0.
That's impossible.
That is almost an impossibility.
And here's how they did it. And I'm glad that you said what they've done over the last 20 days.
Yeah.
Because as I've been watching them the last week, I keep telling myself, I've never seen this before. This is historic. Where does this rank? So I love a good analytic project. I dove in on numbers last night, Bull.
Okay.
And I'm going to say something that is going to sound hyperbolic.
Oh, boy. Let's go.
I wasn't able to confirm it because even AI couldn't help me with this.
Oh,
AI was stumped for 20 minutes on this. I finally gave up. I've never stumped AI. I stumped them.
You did.
The question I asked AI was, what is the smallest amount of runs allowed by a pitching staff in Major League history over 20 games?
Yeah.
And it was giving me all kinds of different scenarios, and it was saying I'd have to do this to figure that out. I'd have to do that to figure it out.
22 or something?
So over the last 20 games, and Bull, I want you to tell me when I'm done if this is hyperbolic.
All right.
They've allowed 34 runs in 20 games.
That's pretty crazy.
It's 1.7 runs per game.
Yeah.
In 16 of those 20 games, they've allowed 2 runs or less. They've pitched 5 shutouts in 20 games. Some teams don't get 5 for a season.
Yeah.
The 34 runs allowed over 20 games, I ran some numbers just to figure out, well, what is the rest of baseball doing right now over the last 20? The next most effective pitching staff over the last 20 games.
Let me guess.
Guess.
20 games.
They're near and dear to your heart.
The Cubs.
Yes.
74.
75.
Oh.
Now, here's what's wild about that, Bull.
Yeah.
They've allowed 75, and they're number 2.
Yeah.
The Guardians have allowed 34.
I mean, that's just nuts.
41 fewer runs over 20 games. 2 runs a game less than the Cubs have been averaging.
The Cubs, who are the second best, are giving up more than double the runs.
More than double.
Yeah.
So here's what I tried to figure out, which,
Yeah.
again, I ran into a roadblock on a 20-game stretch.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the best 20-game stretch by a pitching staff in Major League history, but I can tell you this. Everything AI was feeding me on that, they kept saying, we can't find another instance. We can't find another instance.
I mean, even if it's not the record, certainly
it's got to be close.
Certainly, I'm not ignore the dead ball era and all that.
No,
stuff.
I actually, I'm glad you brought that up. I went live ball era 1920.
Yeah, I mean, I got to think it's at least top 5 of the last 100 years.
I couldn't find anything that came close to it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, I know this is apples to oranges because we're talking about 20 games compared to 162.
Yeah.
This surprised me. Do you know which team had the best ERA over an entire season in the live ball era? This shocked me.
If it surprised you, then it wouldn't be one of those Braves teams.
It would. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was the 1968 Cleveland Indians.
Wow.
Which was, they were a mess of a team,
Okay,
but they had Louis Tiant and they had Sam McDowell.
Okay.
Their ERA was 2.91. The Guardians is below 1.7 because one of those 34 runs over the last 20 games was unearned. So I can't think of a time, and this is what it leads me to believe, Bull. And I talked about this a week and a half ago. I think what we're seeing from the Cleveland Guardians right now, and I know not every team is equipped to do this, but I think that Carl Willis has essentially changed. He's done to starting pitching what Tito did for the bullpens in 2016. Other teams are going to get onto this data, and they're going to realize just how important that extra day rest is, particularly when you're late in the season.
Yeah, well,
this is revolutionary.
I don't know about that. I mean, other teams are using 6-man rotations.
They are, but
you got to have 6 effective starters for it to be.
And that's why I said not every team can do it. But Bull, I would argue that I did some numbers on 3 days rest, 4 days rest, 5 days rest. The ERA goes down precipitously with each extra day rest you're giving.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean,
so it just makes sense to me that in a game that parses numbers like baseball does, how have we not gotten to this point earlier where teams have said, even if that 6th starter is mid, he's going to be better on that extra day's rest than he normally is.
Right, but I think for a lot of teams, and the Guardians are an unusual case where they have 6 guys who are at least pitching well. Like, we'll see what their careers turn out. A lot of them haven't done this for a long time. And they don't have, even though Gavin Williams has pitched like an ace for the second half, they don't have a true proven ace.
I think they do now. I think Gavin Williams is our ace.
I think they do, but he's not proven long enough. He hasn't been an ace. I mean, he hasn't been an elite number 1.
But would you agree that since July 1st he's been an ace?
Since July 1st he has been.
And what did they have last night? 19 strikeouts.
Yeah. Listen, the bullpen was great.
19 out of 24.
19 out of 27.
I was wondering.
That's crazy.
8 balls in play.
I thought
outs.
for a second there was a possibility he'd leave Gavin Williams in the 7th, but that 6th inning was so long that even though he only had like 92 pitches, I think it was the right move to take him out. But the bullpen was great. I mean, the pitching's just been amazing, and there was no sign of it because let's face it, before this stretch, Ciccone was pitching like crap.
He had a 2-game stretch where his ERA was over 9.
Right. Bybee was not pitching particularly well. He was at best inconsistent.
Yeah.
Cantillo was down in the minors.
Allen
was up and down. And now they've all pitched. You're getting a great start every night. The Tigers, on the other hand, are not pitching as well, although Skubal pitched well yesterday, and their lineup is a total disaster.
Jay, as a pitcher, when Gavin Williams is when he's throwing his curveball and his slider like that, he's a little different. Like when he's getting guys to swing at that. Now, here's the thing too. I know they was a little salty at the strike zone.
Strike zone it's the worst. Yeah. It's the worst called game I've seen all year.
Speaking of which, did you hear they approved the ABS?
Just on time.
Yeah. Starting next year.
So the way it's going to work is you have the ability to challenge 2 pitches per game unsuccessfully.
Right.
If you successfully challenge a pitch, it doesn't count as one of your 2 challenges.
And you get
only
an extra,
the pitcher,
you get
catcher,
an extra
and
for
hitter.
extra innings.
They was giving him the Greg Maddux corners. And
it was the worst called game since the 95 World Series.
This guy was terrible.
I couldn't believe how
I'd like
many...
to see what his grade was this morning.
Terrible.
I'd say a C.
I was sitting like sort of behind home plate, like just a little off, but like I feel like we had a pretty good view. It looked. I mean,
he called
the fans
strike 3
were
on Stephen Kwan. It was 4 inches out of the
Oh my God!
I was like.
What's funny at the time,
but it went both ways.
Right? No.
I thought it went both ways.
The Tigers,
but a lot of the Tigers had a number of punch outs on third strike on balls that were just not in the strike zone.
We had at the moment when he struck out Kwan with that bad pitch, I was actually in the car because I had baseball practice, and then I was trying to drive.
What did Tom Hamilton say about that?
And Tom Hamilton goes, "That's way high, but a strike 3."
It was unreal.
He was so good last night.
It was so high, so far out of the zone.
Yeah, and I was listening to Tom. I like to sync up the radio broadcast.
I do too.
So I mute the TV, and I was listening to Tom the last, I think, 2 innings.
His calls are so great.
It's the best.
And
it's
so
the
much
best.
energy.
But we got to get into that 6th inning, though, because that was one of the craziest
inning I've seen in a long time.
I mean, think about this. You got bunt hit, then a bunt, which if the Guardians had lost, I might have been in here like, why was Angel Martinez bunting?
Right.
No, that's a good question.
I didn't understand.
I didn't like
bunt.
it.
You down 2 runs.
I didn't like it either.
Unbelievable.
But it worked out because
when it works.
Skubal try to be Rex Sakahura, whatever the hell the Browns.
Brian Pomprion.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, who's the Browns long snapper now? I forgot it last night. I
knows?
forgot it again.
Rex Sanahara.
Sanahara.
What a name.
Yeah.
What was he?
name.
You know, Bull,
Savannah
reminded
Bananas.
me, I've said in our text, I said, he's a great pitcher. Sometimes the big moment proves too much for even great athletes. This is what it reminded me of, and I'm interested in get your take. Last year, Yankees-Dodgers. Yankees are in control of a game.
Yeah.
A ball is hit to Aaron Judge. He's a very sound defensive player.
Yeah, he's a good fielder. Yeah.
He drops the ball.
Right.
And then the wheels fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
And Yankees fans are literally watching this going, there went our World Series. In that inning, that one inning. And to me, the 6th inning last night reminded me of that inning of the World Series game because it was one thing after another after another. And after the Skubal hike, I felt like he's going to leave one in the zone. He's going to do something that is very punitive to his team. I didn't know what. Right. It ended up being the balk, which is, how uncharacteristic is that? Right. And that balk was a forced error by Jose.
Oh, no doubt. Let's go back for a second. After the hike, so now it's 2nd and 3rd.
Yeah.
Right. Jose comes up.
Nubs one.
Go back and watch the video. Oh, we can't show it. It sucks. He hit the ball. I'm trying to remember if he was batting lefty or righty. I can't remember now.
He's batting
right.
He's
batting right. So he's like. It hit the bat like here.
Yeah.
That was barely above his head.
And it nubbed,
and
55?
That's why it barely went anywhere.
Right.
But it was perfect.
Yeah, he couldn't have placed it any better.
And another good bit of luck for the Guardians is in that situation, what did you have? You had Quan at 3rd, Martinez at 2nd, and Jose hitting. Because you had 3 really good base runners and 2 elite base runners with Jose and Quan.
Right.
Like, with other base runners, maybe there's a play somewhere. It's possible. And this comes to play again later. But so they get a run on that. And then obviously we all know what happened with Fry, which was just awful, and obviously rooting for him. But
by the way, further shook Skubal.
Yeah.
Skubal was already shaking.
He went off the cliff.
But the second the ball hit him, he threw his glove and hat off, and
the next pitch was in the dirt.
The next pitch was a wild pitch that tied the game.
Yeah. And you said, we saw him on TV.
I watched him the whole time, dude. He was like, they were taking, a lot of players were on the knee taking a prayer, praying for Fry, which was very scary. It was very, nobody knew what was going on. It seemed like forever that he was down, and they bring the card out and all this whole thing. It was nice to see him give the thumbs up because you're like, oh my God.
Who knows how.
I couldn't tell if there was blood because he had a thing on his, a washcloth or something.
They put a towel over his face. There was some blood. I saw some still images.
Yeah, you could die from something like that. It's possible.
Listen,
and I understand.
Was the only player in the history of Major League Baseball to die.
Yeah.
A Cleveland Indian.
Yeah.
I think it was 1920 or something, over 100 years ago. But 99 fastball to the face.
Yeah.
That could do it.
And it was real because before the game, I noticed that he was baseball had this weird camaraderie. He was over there talking to Hedges down the third base line. It was, obviously they know each other. Guys were yucking it up and having a good. So when he threw the baseball, it was like he saw his brother or something die.
Yeah.
It was wild. And after that, you said it earlier about being an emotional pitcher. Usually
he was shook, man.
Generally speaking,
he was shook. Yeah.
If you see 3 or 4 things happen like that in a row in succession, even though you're a guy that never, it's bunts. You have a bunt, you got another one that goes.
They scored 3 runs
on nothing.
According to Pitching Ninja, who does awesome job finding stats.
55
if you guys
feet.
don't follow, the hardest hit ball in that 3-run 6th inning You ready for this?
Might have been Arias.
65 mile an hour.
65.5 miles per hour off the bat.
I mean,
exit velo of 65.5.
It's Little League velo.
3 runs.
Yeah.
Off
Right.
arguably the best pitcher
Well,
in
the
the
ball
American League.
never even reached a base. Like
Didn't reach the dirt.
Right. Didn't even reach dirt.
Nothing did.
So the wild pitch, then Jose's on second, right? And then, as you said, he's messing with Skubal out at second base.
Forced error.
Yeah.
Forces
In
the
tennis
balk.
terms, that's a forced error.
Forced error.
And then Arias just, hit probably the hardest hit ball, a chopper to first. And again, if you go back and look at the replay, Jose
Breaking.
is almost halfway home by the time the ball bounces the first time.
So in that situation,
Yeah.
you'll know this being a base coach and being a
Yeah.
baseball guy. In that situation, even if it's infield in, if it's hit to the right side,
Yeah.
you're gone.
Gone.
You are breaking. And he timed it perfectly. I went back and looked at it too,
Yeah.
like you did,
Yeah.
I'm sure. And certain players, defensive backs, have this innate ability to instinctively know where the ball's going. A great center
the
fielder
anticipation's
oftentimes will make his first step
Yeah.
at impact. So the ball isn't even off the bat yet, but based on what pitch was thrown and
Yeah.
where it was thrown, he knows it's going to be in the gap the other way, and they
Well-
move. And it's the same thing with Jose on the bases.
Yeah.
Jose has this Mensa-level ability to know when he should go and know when he should stay, and he broke. That was textbook. He broke at exactly the right time.
Yeah, and they had no shot.
And they had no shot
And
to get him.
I talked to kids, the ball kids I coach, about getting a secondary lead.
Huge.
Like I pound that. And,
Yes.
and
Especially
he-
in second.
Second, but even at third, because he had a huge secondary lead.
Always
And
does.
so his instinct, the second the ball was touched, there was no way. They
Yeah.
didn't even look at home plate.
And the thing is, in that situation, what you're most worried about is a line drive.
Sure, yeah.
And in that case in particular, you're worried about a line drive to third base.
Right,
Because
right.
he's doubled up in that
Yeah.
situation.
Yes,
But it's a calculated risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
He knows that the odds of that happening are so minuscule. And if they do, you know what Vogt says when he comes in? Aggressive mistake.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I'll die with that every
That's
single
right.
time because more often than not,
That's right.
it's going to work.
It's super underrated. Like the importance of base running. People don't talk about it all the time.
It gets
The new kid they brought up that Jose was running around the dugout saying, I like this kid. He had the infield
Halpin?
base hit. Yeah, he had the infield base hit, which actually, I don't know why Detroit didn't challenge it. It went off his leg.
Oh, I didn't
So
even notice
if you weren't
that.
watching it and you were listening on the radio,
Yeah.
so
No, I was watching it, but
he
I didn't
hit
notice.
it and it actually went off of his leg, which means is a dead ball.
Yeah.
And Detroit came out, and I thought Hinch was going to challenge it because he was talking to the umpire, but he
Right.
didn't challenge it, which was, it would have been overturned for
Right.
sure. But he got a base hit out of it because he came out of the box like his feet were on fire. And Andre Knott was saying, guys, just to let you know how infectious this kind of baseball can be, Jose Ramirez, who is not easily impressed, was running up and down the dugout saying, I love the way this kid plays. I love this kid. Of course
good.
he does. That's how Jose plays. So,
yeah, well, again, we've said this many times before, but it's worth repeating. When your best player is your hardest worker, it rubs off on the other players. And
it does.
That's very rare that's the case.
Yeah,
but
it's
nobody
extremely
outworks
rare.
Jose.
Can I give you? We're on a high. All of us are.
Yeah.
These games count for 2 in the standings.
Absolutely. The magic number for winning the division is 5.
That's right.
So if they sweep this series, it's down to 1.
Yes, which means a win over Texas or a Tigers loss
That's
at
right.
Fenway, and they're in.
Yes.
But there is reason to be concerned. There is reason to be
boy.
concerned, and I don't want to. I always look at. I'm a Cleveland sports fan. I'm cynical.
All right.
So what could go wrong? And what could go wrong is the Tigers win the next 2. They're back in the driver's seat.
Yes.
Okay. One thing that really concerns me, Bull, I've never seen this before. I don't know if it's ever happened before.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the run differentials for the 6 division leaders right now.
I know the Guardians is -5, but
-6.
They were at negative 60.
They were.
Yeah.
But the Phillies.
I know they're way off.
Plus
Yeah.
121. The Brewers plus 173.
Yeah.
The Dodgers plus 125. The Jays plus 63. Seattle plus 69. Guardians -6.
Yeah. I know. Listen, there's a lot about the Guardians that is hard to believe. It's probably the worst offensive club I've ever seen potentially make the playoffs. But you know
I would
what?
second that.
Sometimes you just live in the moment. Right now, they're a different team. Right now, for the last 3 weeks, they're a mediocre offensive team instead of a terrible offensive
But
team.
you know what they are?
Yeah.
They're an opportunistic.
They have been. They've
They
been
get
clutch.
They said last
Yeah.
night during the telecast that they've scored in this stretch
Yeah.
of 20 games or whatever it is. They've scored more runs with 2 outs than they have with one or none.
Their batting average with 2 outs is like 340.
It's
That's
insane.
crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
Everybody is coming through in the clutch.
Well,
it doesn't matter who it is.
It was Schneemann again last night
Schneemann.
with 2 outs in the 7th, right? It's only a 3-2 game at the time.
Yeah.
And then Hedges walked, right? Didn't he walk?
He
How'd he get
did
on?
walk. I think he
and
walked.
you and I both at the same time were like, "Why not a pinch run for him?"
I know.
And then Quan gets a double. You might have scored had you had a. Even if Bo Naylor's
You know who
running.
I wanted him to run? The Halpern kid, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Petey Halpin.
He scores from first.
Yes.
On that double
but
down
even
the line.
Bo Naylor's a better runner than.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have sent Bo on that.
Yeah,
Bo's
but-
better than Hedgie.
Anyway, but
Hedgie runs like he's got G-Bush on his back.
Yeah.
You know, he's
But
not-
then Schneemann
He
comes
got the
through.
third. He got the third and was like, "Yeah, I'm didn't wait for me home."
He was even pulling up
Right.
coming into third. He wasn't thinking home
And you
at
know
all.
the Tigers are panicking. They're bringing the closer in the 7th inning. You know, like.
Yeah, I thought Hinch, he managed that like it was a playoff game.
I think the Guardians are going to sweep the series. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. I feel even more, obviously, even more confident.
Really?
They are on a roll. The Tigers are tight. You can't be tighter than the Tigers are. They know this is the worst collapse in the history of the sport.
If they lose tonight,
What do you think of the pitching matchup tonight? I mean, Flaherty's
I
been
like it.
good.
I like
He's
it.
obviously pitching much better of late.
I like it. I think advantage us.
Flaherty's not that good.
If they
No.
couldn't win last night in the way things happened,
Right,
they
right,
got to
right.
be in their head a little bit about like, oh my God, if we can't win that game, because like it was,
Right.
dude, Skubal was cruising.
Yeah, he was.
Like there was no way we win that game unless those circumstances happened. Like it had to be that way because we weren't getting hit off that.
It
guy.
was hard.
The interesting thing
We
about
weren't even putting the
Skubal,
ball in
though,
play.
Not
he
for
missed
both.
a lot last night, and he doesn't miss.
No, he didn't have great command.
His command, and I'm telling you, I think we're going to find out when the season's over and we do the post-mortem here.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with Tarik Skubal. I think you can go back to the start 2 starts ago when he had to leave in the 3rd or 4th inning with the oblique.
Yeah.
He hasn't won since.
I wish I
Cleveland's
could be
beaten
that
him
good.
twice.
I mean,
Being healthy.
listen,
It's 4 hits.
Listen,
and 2 of them was bunts.
it's not the hits. Do you see those 3
Yeah, the
walks
walks are
over there?
unusual.
Tarik Skubal doesn't walk guys. He just doesn't.
Maybe he's feeling some nerves too, man.
Yeah.
Well,
He's
I
human.
think
don't know.
it could be nerves. I mentioned I don't think
knows?
he handled the big moment well at all yesterday, but also he was missing, and
Yeah.
you could see the frustration building, particularly missing high. He was missing high a lot. And I know when I miss high a lot, I'm overthrowing. And a lot of times when I'm overthrowing, I'm overcompensating for something. Something hurts.
Yeah.
I'm using my more elbow than shoulder or more shoulder than elbow, and
Yeah.
I can't be fine with my...
Here's a perfect scenario, too, by the way. I don't know if we mentioned this yesterday. Is that the Guardians win the division, end up to 3. I mean, I'd like them to be higher, but most likely they're going to
I know where you're going with this.
And the Tigers hold on to that 6th spot.
It's us in Detroit.
And
the Yankees and Red Sox would play, too.
Right. But part of this is that Skubal will probably have to pitch Sunday for the
To get
Tigers
them in.
to get them in.
Yeah.
Which means
He would
the
be unavailable.
soonest- it's a best of 3.
Yeah.
The soonest he could pitch was game 3, and that would be on short rest.
Yeah.
So that would be an amazing scenario.
It could
to
play
play them
out
again.
Yeah, it could play out. I was thinking that last night.
But I think they're going to completely collapse, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make the playoffs at all.
Man, it'd be the biggest collapse in Major League
Oh,
history.
my God.
And it would be the biggest deficit erased in Major League history.
Now, EP Steve says the Rangers are eliminated. Is that correct?
They're out.
They're done?
They're done.
So what
and
have
I
to play for?
believe they may.
They've already announced some of their key guys are done for the
Yes, they announced last night that 2 of their starters are
Yeah,
not going to work.
they're done. The
So,
Royals are mathematically
to me,
alive, but they're not really
That's
alive.
huge advantage, Guardians, Bull, because as you know,
Yeah.
when a team goes into white flag mode, just look at the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
They went into white flag mode at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
And I know that they traded away half their team.
Right.
But even the Buxtons of the Twins, everybody has taken a huge drop off
Yeah.
because the white flag is out.
Haven't the Rangers lost 8 in a row?
Thanks,
Or 9
7.
in a row?
Maybe
That's crazy.
they're out of it. I know that.
Yeah, Marcus
And a
Semien.
week ago, they
their
were in the
starting
thick of
middle
it.
infield. Marcus Semien and Corey Seager have been hurt, who might have been able to come back.
Well,
They shut them down both
yeah.
for the rest of the year.
Lost 8 in a row, Bull. You're right.
They've lost 8 in a row. They're
This is-
playing
this is-
terribly.
and they
so-
still have a plus 80 run differential.
They've given up the fewest runs in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
by a lot.
Yeah, listen, they'll still have some good pitchers, probably. But who knows? Maybe they'll shut down DeGrom. I don't know when he's supposed to pitch, but he's injury prone. I could very well see them
Yep.
shutting him down.
Why would you risk it?
Yeah,
with a guy like
with
that
his
who
injury history.
gets hurt all the time.
So I don't know.
As it stands now, Bull, according to ESPN, the
Yeah.
3 pitchers in that Rangers-Guardians series would be Leiter, Kelly, and Corbin.
Oh, beautiful.
That's great for us.
Those are the 3 worst starters.
Yeah, I'll take
Leiter's
that.
been good. He's a rookie. He's been solid.
He's been really good.
Merrill Kelly's been okay since going to the Rangers. Patrick Corbin stinks. He got off to a good start this year, but he's terrible.
Let's just hope that
so
it doesn't come
good.
down to the last day of the season. I would love for them to just be able to settle in, get your rotation right for the playoffs, because that's always important. The teams that can do that have a
now
big
think
advantage.
about it this way. Gavin Williams, you want him game 1.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Gavin pitch again.
Like Skubal, if the Guardians need it, Gavin Williams is going to pitch Sunday.
That's why I don't want to need it.
You want to clinch by Saturday.
I want him on ice by Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you could clinch. They could clinch a playoff spot
Friday.
actually by tomorrow.
They could clinch a playoff spot
If they win their next 2 and the Rangers lose their next, I'm sorry,
the Red Sox.
Astros lose their next.
I thought
2.
it was the Red Sox that would have to lose.
No, because they're a game up. Aren't they 2 up on the Astros, Mike?
In the wild card standings right now, technically the Guardians are not.
What are the Tigers up on the Astros?
Let's take wild card standings. They're a game up on the Astros.
They're a game up on the Astros.
Yeah.
Oh wait, they're 2 up because the Guardians have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So if the Guardians win their next 2 and the Astros lose their next 2, they'd be essentially 3 up on the Astros with 3 to go.
And that would clinch
even
a
if
spot.
they lost out, and even if but they're going to play they want to play for the division. But if it's the last day of the season and they've clinched a playoff spot, I'm not pitching Gavin Williams, even if it means I got to win the division.
That's what I was going to ask you.
I
I'm
would
pitching him if the division's in play because you get extra rest. No, you don't. No, you don't.
wouldn't.
Only the first 2.
No, you wouldn't. You just get home.
Is there a
You just
chance
get it
that
home.
they can catch the 2 or not? Mathematically, I think
there is. Mike, what is the Mariners' record right now? They've won $1 million in a row, too.
Yeah, they've been
They're as hot
red
as the
hot.
Guardians.
The Mariners have 88 wins. The Guardians have 85.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's unlikely, though. I don't know what the tiebreaker is with the Mariners.
I don't know if we have it or not,
the
but
Blue
we
Jays
could
have
catch
80.
them.
Nobody's got 90 wins in the American League, I don't believe, right?
No, the
Toronto's
Blue
90.
Jays do.
Blue
They
Jays
have
have
90.
90?
Blue Jays have 90.
And the Yankees have 89. Second
Right.
most.
But 90, I mean, this late, with only 5 games to go,
It's crazy.
you know.
All right, guys, we got our first guest of the day ready, and we're going to bring in Leroy after a quick word from Mazda, brought to you by those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into that extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning, and just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. What's up, Leroy? How you doing today?
Leroy.
You got Guardians
going on,
fever
guys?
too, don't you, bro?
I keep an eye on it. I remember
know
I
you
used
do.
to go to those games. Me and Kenny Lofton used to exchange season tickets because we had the same agent. And I found it just wanted to just go into a 1:00 game, sitting in that stadium with hardly nobody there and enjoying baseball was cool, and then go into the locker room afterwards and tell them how soft they were.
And you weren't wrong.
You told Kenny Lofton he was soft, huh?
Yeah, and keep in mind, I've known Albert Bell since he was in college.
Wow.
Because when I originally went to
LSU
college,
guy.
I was going to play baseball. I was going to play baseball too. So
Wow. So what was Albert like as in college? Was he as crazy as he was in?
He was Joey Bell then.
Joey Bell, right?
yes. Well, what I would say is this: everybody thinks quiet is crazy, right? Because you just don't know.
Yeah.
And it's actually, when somebody's quiet, it's our ignorance that we're portraying on them.
Okay,
It's
fair
not
enough.
them. So he was just probably one of those guys that, in the circle, he was cool, but wasn't like as outgoing as somebody else, Like everybody can't be Ricky Henderson. You know what I mean? Everybody can't have that personality. There's other guys that just are great at what they do, but they don't have that personality.
Did you ever hear the Ricky Henderson story when John Olerud was on first base? And John used to wear the helmet
in the field.
Yes.
And John was on first base and he was leading off,
That's
or
right,
no,
his
I'm
helmet.
sorry, Ricky was on first base,
Yeah.
and he told Olerud, who was wearing a helmet in the field, man, I used to play with a guy that wore a helmet in the field, and Olerud said, Ricky, that was me. Ricky didn't even know that was his teammate.
All the stories that I've heard about him, most of them are not remembering his teammates.
I
funny to me.
got another real quick Ricky Henderson story that you'll appreciate. I don't remember the exact numbers, but Ricky Henderson obviously led the American League in stolen bases almost every year he played,
Yeah.
right? But there was one year, I think he missed part of the season. He got hurt. and he would steal like 100, 120, whatever. And the 1 year he missed some time, he still, I think, finished second in steals.
Might have been Lofton that
No, but
beat him.
it was Harold Reynolds.
Oh, okay.
Because Harold Reynolds told the story. And Harold Reynolds, I think, finished with like 60 steals to lead the league. And Ricky still barely played and had like 57 or something. And the second the season was over, Harold Reynolds was like, I'm at my house, I get a call, and Harold goes, Harold, this is Ricky Henderson here. I don't know what accent I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And he goes, you should be embarrassed winning the stolen base title with only 60 steals.
That's great. That is very Ricky. Remember when he broke Lou Brock's record?
Yeah.
He pulled third base out,
yeah.
and he held it up, and he said something like Lou Brock was used to be the greatest of all time, but today Ricky Henderson is the greatest of all time.
Ricky Henderson is the greatest of all time.
He was the greatest soundbite of all time for sure.
I had to start.
He was one of the people that used. He was one of the
OGs
OGs using his name in the third person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he started it. I think he did it before Bo Jackson and everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you know Bo well, Leroy?
A little bit. He was a guy who wasn't like, his personality came over a period of time.
Yeah.
He wasn't that talkative early on.
He stuttered as a child, and he said it made him extremely insecure, and he wasn't very outgoing.
I always thought he could be a Hall of Famer in either sport. If he had only played one and stayed healthy, he would have been a Hall of Famer in either, I think.
Yep, I agree with that.
He was what I like to refer to as a black redneck.
He was.
I am familiar.
Hunter.
Yeah, the reason why I know it is because my dad was from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and when we would go visit, they would say, "We go into the country," and that's when I realized I was city folk. Some of the things you go to the porch back in the woods with the string light outside, and they have like animal skins on the porch, and I'm like, no. This is not for me. Y'all want something to eat? I was like, no, I do not. I don't know what y'all cooking, right?
I get my food at the grocery store.
And they always said this, which steered me away from everything they cook. Tastes like chicken. Yeah. When somebody say that, I'm like, how about I just have a piece of chicken?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to taste like.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so good.
Speaking of cooking, Leroy, let's get to the Browns. Quinshon Judkins, he was cooking.
Yeah, my emotions in the last 2 weeks have been on two different extremes. Look, against the Ravens, sometimes in life, and sports is no different. Sometimes you get up against it where either the other team has the ball for a long period of time, and then you feel a sense of urgency as an offense, and then you start pressing, and then you start making mistakes, and you get on the other side of that trouble, and you can't get rid of it. That's what happened against Baltimore. Like, it was like, no matter what we do, we make a mistake, and now it's a landslide, right? So, but then the following week against Green Bay, the whole time I was like, hey, man, it's only 10 points. They're not out of this. All you need is a sustained drive. They did an excellent job of running the football. At times I wish let's see how much they can take. At times I wish they could have ran it even more. But they did a fine job of running the ball, controlling the line of scrimmage. And that's kind of what you do when you have Micah on the other side, right? If you don't want Micah to rush the passer, right, then you run the football and run it at him and do stuff like that. That's what they've done over a period of time. The difference is Green Bay can usually score, so they put you behind it and make you have to force to try to push the ball down the field a little bit. But that never happened. At the end of that game, and Jay can attest to this,
I'm looking at the text right now from you.
I'm watching the game.
So hard, brother.
I'm watching the game. They line up for the field goal, and I'm like, what a terrible way to lose. All this fighting back you did, this is terrible. Block the punt. Oh, no. So they blocked the field goal. And now I'm like, take a knee. Listen, let's take a knee, regroup, let's go into overtime, because I don't want Flacco to Flacco at this moment, right? So let's I'm texting Jay. Jay, just take a knee.
He literally said, everything that can happen here is bad.
Right.
And then 30 seconds later, never mind. Geez, what a rock fight. You're in the same stage of grief as I am as a Browns fan.
Dude, my emotions with this team are like, I didn't have these emotions when I played. It's the craziest thing. Because in the back of your mind, tell me if I'm wrong. In the back of your mind, there's always those Joe Flacco moments.
Oh, yeah.
You don't
that's
know
in
whether
the front of my mind.
You don't know whether he gonna throw for 500 or throw 3 picks. If he throw for 500, he gonna look like the best quarterback in the league. And if he throw 3 picks, you're gonna just throw your hands up and go, "What just happened?" And so I was like, let's just go in overtime. Usually, it's okay to go in overtime when you're the home team, right?
Yeah.
And by the time I texted it out and got all the stuff out and got my mind right and was telling Jay, oh my goodness, please, please, please. Couple of plays, field goal, game over. And it was less than 5 minutes. I'm like, what? Being a fan sucks. It sucks.
Did you have to decompress? I had to decompress for like 20 minutes after the game. I had to sit there and literally think, what the hell did I just watch? How did that happen?
And you know what the crazy thing is? It happened 3 more times in football that weekend.
Yeah, within minutes.
Right.
Within minutes.
Right, within
minutes. Tampa Bay got
their
kick blocked.
The Eagles.
The Eagles, all to win games.
Right. And so, like, I know the Browns need to improve their pass game. Right? But for them to actually be competitive every week, I just think they need to control the line of scrimmage offensively and try to do that, because at this point the only thing that gets you in trouble are turnovers, because they have shown from the defensive side of the ball and the offensive line they can compete with anybody, right? The only thing that hurts you are the penalties and the turnovers. So I don't know how, it's boring football, right? But that's kind of where you are right now. And I'm a firm believer, win the game that's in front of you. Don't try to win the game a certain way. Just win the game that, like, who would have ever thought that one of the most potent offenses in the league that runs the ball, passes the ball, quarterback gets it downfield, right? You're going to be involved in a rock fight. You're going to be involved in a physical Cleveland, almost January football game. Mm-hmm. It happens. You got to be able to win these games. So I was highly impressed at just overall how, one, that defense stopped that offense, and two, how the offense was able to do just enough to have a chance at the end, and then took advantage of that opportunity at the end to win a football game. That's a good football team over there. So I step away from this saying, okay, now we've proven we can beat the best. Now let's get better at what we do so that we can win games in a number of different ways. Because I don't think this style of football is sustainable, although the Eagles have proven that they could do it, but they just have a quarterback that if he needs to make a play, he can make a play. So whether you use him or not is not an issue. So, I was very impressed with, one, how they stayed with it, right? How many of you guys looked at it and say, this is terrible. Oh. They can't do nothing. And then next thing you know, it's a tie game.
They had 10 points with 12 yards of offense.
Right. The fact that they were able to
It's exactly like the Guardians.
It's crazy.
The fact that they were able to stay with it, right, and still have something at the end and put forth that effort to get it done, because it's easy in those situations to get frustrated and quit. It's so easy. And everybody would have said, oh, well, you kept it close. They kept it close. We thought they were going to get blown out, right? But no, they fought through it and won the game. So kudos to them. It was very impressive, even though the game itself wasn't that aesthetically pleasing. But if you're in Cleveland, that's great. That was a great football game if you watch football in Cleveland.
All right, so let's talk a little about Flacco. How much longer will he start?
I think I put on my radio show in Miami, I said, Flacco is the equivalent, if you're a baseball fan, a bullpen game. Right? We going to go do a bullpen game. He going to come in, and he might be able to do some long relief. He might be able to close a game, but he can't start, right? And because his overall record is not going to show how much he's contributing. And Flacco, I say we had another guy like that too, Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston and Flacco going to give you 4 or 5 of the greatest weeks of football you have ever seen, right? 300, 400 yards, no picks, 3 touchdowns, just throwing the ball all over the place. But it's those other weeks. So is he the most reliable quarterback that the Browns have? Absolutely. I'm not even like, is it time to go with somebody? No. But I'm wondering if it's a situation where because he's a little bit older, right, it wears on him a little bit. So I don't know how to go about that, but I know that based on this roster, Joe Flacco is your most reliable quarterback.
But how do we know that when the other guys haven't played, Leroy? And because couldn't Joe just be shot? I get what you're saying about Joe in the past is completely accurate, but he hasn't given any great games yet. Maybe he just doesn't have any more left in him at this point.
It's possible because you know what? I learned a long time ago, like besides the 72 Dolphins, Father Time is undefeated. You can't win. You can't win. And all these guys that try to, play long, it hits you.
We'll throw Tom Brady in there, too. Brady won at 46.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay. Listen, there are exceptions to the rule. But why are we trying to make that the norm? You see what I mean?
That's right.
Brady was an exception to the rule. LeBron James is an exception to the rule. Stop thinking your guy could do that.
That's right.
If everybody could do it, then there would be no Tom Brady. It would be the norm. That guy was something different. So for everybody to think, now we can get our 40-year-old quarterback to just give us one more year? Silly humans. Like, come on. Right? You see they already benched Russell Wilson. He ain't even
30.
40.
Yeah. No,
he's 30, what, 37?
No, he's younger than that.
No, he's
Russell
not.
Wilson.
Like
Yes.
37.
I don't think so.
He's 36. Turns 37.
Okay.
in
36.
November.
I was going to say 35.
Wait, okay, 36.
Month from
36.
37.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know. Yeah, man.
By the way, that's the right move in New York because I don't think they have the defense that the Browns have. And the fan base in New York is usually as vitriolic as a fan base can be. And I know we have a pretty vociferous fan base, but I thought they were going to storm the field on the Monday night game. They were done with Russell Wilson.
Hey, that's the energy we need. I need that energy.
We need storm the field energy.
I need storming fields, bro. I go back and watch the All-22, and the thing that dawns on me is they are playing a bunch of man. They playing man-to-man coverage, and they sitting in everything short. They're like the high-low concepts, Leroy. You watch the Ravens, they're jumping them routes. You watch the last game against the Packers, it's almost like they know what's coming. They jump in everything. And it's tough because you don't really have guys on the outside. The only guy that can really win one-on-one outside is Jeudy. But then you got your tackles that are getting beat, and it's 2.5 seconds, right? So some of it, I go back and look, and I'm not the biggest Flacco fan, but as I looked at it, I had to say, it's not necessarily all Flacco. Would I still make the change? Yes, I would. But they got a couple of things where it's the tackles. you can't, you're getting pressure in your face. You can't look downfield. And then, Joe is a little skittish at this point because I think Coach Stefanski is hammering what you said. We can't turn it over. Don't turn it over. Don't turn it over. So his first natural progression is, dude, dump it off. Dump it off.
Safest pass possible.
How can you manufacture yards with some of those deficiencies when the offensive line, you have some things with guys not being able to win?
Judkins.
And so how you go about getting points?
If you run the ball and continue to put pressure on the defense that way, they got to commit more guys to the run. Okay, when you commit more guys to the run, and then you got guys jumping those short routes, if they're paying attention to the run, now you got a chance for play action. Okay, that gives you a chance for a double move. That gives you a chance for some separation, and it gives, with the play action fakes, it gives the receivers and Flacco more time to get down the field, right? To just drop back and kind of run a route or route combination and then try to throw it deep that way, you're almost putting yourself at a disadvantage because of how the protection has been and because how the separation has been, and they're jumping those short routes. But in order to get a ball deep, a deep crossing route, a deep go route or whatever, you're running the football the way you've been running it, okay? You do that play action, and then you combine it with a slant and go or something like that, because
that's how you open it up.
Receiver, and then you go. That's just how you have to do it. You have to create a play that creates separation for your receiver.
There it is.
Because the defense is jumping all these short routes.
From what you've seen, is Judkins the guy? Is he real?
Yes.
I agree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they have a nice combination, but what I would say is this. Right now, at this point in time, he needs to make an early impact on the game so that you can do other things to free up other guys on the team. You see what I mean? So if he's in there running the football and he's running at 4 or 5 yards a clip and he's breaking a couple and they got to commit more to the run, that helps out the receivers. That helps out Joe Flacco. Because when Joe Flacco stick that ball out, right, and they see that downhill run, them DBs, linebackers, everybody going to try to stop Judkins, boom, pop one over the top.
Right.
So that's kind of how you have to play through your strengths. Their strengths on offense right now is their ability to run the football. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to go play action, right? Because here's the advantage that the Browns have that a lot of teams don't have. On first down, they very rarely have 2nd and 12. That's it. There's nothing wrong with 2nd and 7. Because you know what I tell people? Hey, what's 3 times 4? 12 yards. Sound like a first down to me. So, if you can be good on first down and you can always be ahead of the chains on first down, which a lot of teams aren't, then you have the ability to open up your playbook a little bit more, unlike a lot of teams who throw them little bubble screens and do all this stuff. It's just like a run. Yeah, just like chicken, right? No. If somebody says to me again, you want to have a problem with me? Somebody say, oh, that bubble screen is just like an outside run. No, it is not. Because an outside run don't usually end up 2nd and 13. But that bubble screen ends up 2nd and 13.
Leroy, let's wrap it up with this. The 2 rookies on defense, including your Michigan guy, Mason Graham, and then Carson Schlesinger. To us, they've looked great. What say to you through 3 games?
I would say one of the things that I'm impressed with as far as how they have acclimated themselves to the league is, and if you know they're doing a good job, is look at how Myles Garrett is playing.
Yep.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
In years past, they could concentrate on Myles Garrett, double team, triple team him, and nobody else was making a play. Now, you got these guys at linebacker and other D linemen that are forcing you to pay attention to them because they are making plays. And, oh, by the way, now you singling up Myles Garrett, who has basically been doing whatever he wants on the defensive side of the ball. So that's how I look at how the complementary pieces have worked on defense. Not necessarily by the production that they have, but the production that your star has. Because he's on pace to just be unbelievable this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Leroy, good stuff as always, man. We appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us.
Right now?
All right, now.
See you, Leroy.
I'll see you later.
That is our running back, Leroy Hoard. I think it's funny that Leroy's just like one of us, man. The Browns, sometimes we love them. Sometimes they drive us crazy. We're going to get into another Browns topic here after
Mike
a quick
just
reminder.
said that as if it's a 50-50 thing. Like, they give you as much pleasure as they do pain. It's
And
far from 50-50.
he's more one of us than us. He was one of them.
Yeah, so it's different.
That is true. All right, guys, our next Browns topic is brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet $5, and if that $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. All right, guys, it has not been the start to the season that the Cleveland Browns expected or, frankly, need from one Jerry Jeudy. G. Bush, you and I were on the Jeudy deserves to be in at least a conversation for All-Pro last season. Bull was very vehemently against it. And so far this year, even though we were right last year, Bull has been proven right this year. G, Dustin, I want to start with you guys on this one because Jay and Bull talked most of the Guardian segment. What can the Browns do?
The meaningful segment of this show.
What can the Browns do to get Jerry Jeudy more involved in this offense? Does it fall more on Stefanski trying to scheme up things for his wide receiver one? Is it more on Jeudy just capitalizing on said opportunities? But through the first 3 games of the season, this has not been the production from their wide receiver one they need.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that you have to, like, change your offense to, like, force a football to a certain guy to get him going. But sometimes you do. The reality is he's probably going to need some more targets and some more targets that are like easy catches, like not a deep shot, not overthrowing him, not making him run 50 yards and just for nothing for him to walk back. I mean, like, you got to get him involved on some bang eights, some slants, some quick outs, and frankly, he's probably got to get in the end zone in some way, shape, or form. And that may be you may have to hand the ball off to him. I don't know. Sometimes those little trick play here or there can get a guy going. I don't know the psyche inside this dude, but I know receivers, and those guys want the rock. And when you're not getting it and you're not having the success that you're feeling, you kind of can go in the tank a little bit, unfortunately. And I think that's sort of where we're at right now with him.
You know, I wanted to go back and look. And so I done watched this about 3 or 4 times. And when you look at one of the issues with the Cleveland Browns is we talk about motion, right? And we talk about how, they're utilizing motion more. But there's a difference between utilizing motion and then utilizing motion with purpose. When you utilize motion with purpose to get guys open, to get free releases, to use rub routes, to run a guy across the line of scrimmage and then wham and crack back on the defensive end. Now you get him coming down, and now the corner's looking like, okay, well, he's gonna crack there, and no, he comes back in motion, comes already around the backfield. It's when you run in motion, your job is to get a free release. Your job is to make the waters muddy at the line of scrimmage so that your guys can be in open space. And Dustin, you're correct. When you're a guy like Jerry Jeudy, one of the things that you have to do as a play caller is not so much it's your system. Every week you're challenged with an opportunity to figure out the way to attack. And so often the first 3 games, the Browns are running just, your simple high-low concepts, trying to put the linebackers in conflict, whether it's a short route, a stick route, and a dig behind it. Teams are sitting on those things because they're not very scared about the ability for you to get deep. And plus, when you couple that with the offensive line, who's not giving you enough time, a lot of those routes don't have time to get the bang aids, to get those post routes like that. Because guys, deep crosser or deep overs take time. You need 3.5 seconds. Flacco's getting to the top of his drop when he needs to make a decision on where I'm going to throw with anticipation. and the guy's in his lap. So you need to do some stuff where you almost got to tell your team, hey, look, I got 5 plays in my back pocket. They kind of cheap. They cheap little plays. Either they picks, rubs, whatever the case, screens, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to get you active and ready to go early. Jerry Jeudy is a dude that you need to see him. I need to get him some touches quickly. Like, I need to get you 2-3 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And feeling good about yourself. And now you're going to see him running those routes a little bit more with more conviction.
I said this to you guys last year when you were pulling your shenanigans about Pro Bowl and All-Pro, and I'll tell you again, even though I think he's a nice player, he is not a special player. He is not a player, we got to get him the ball. First of all, the Browns can barely throw the ball at all. They have the worst quarterback in the league. They have the worst pass-blocking offensive line in the league. Like, what are you even talking about here, Mike? I don't even understand. What do you want him to do? He's getting 7 targets a game for a team. How about you hold on to the ball when you do get it thrown your way? He has more drops than anybody else the last 2 years. He's getting 7 targets a game. Isn't that most on the team?
Yes.
Okay, so what the hell are we talking about here? I got to force the action to a guy who's just a decent wide receiver?
Well, it was a 2-part question. I said, is
Yeah.
it on Kevin Stefanski, or is this just Jerry Jeudy making the most of his opportunities? I apologize for not emphasizing and putting that in bold text
I
in
will
the
say
rundown
this.
for you last night, so you knew the 2 parts.
All targets are not created the same.
Right.
Like, if you're sitting, here's the thing you need to look at.
Yeah.
Flacco's average is 3.9 yards.
Right. It stinks.
To put it in perspective, that's not stinks. That's like
That's another level of
that's
stink.
high school. You can't run offense like that to
Yeah.
win games. Like, it's just it's sobering.
DJ
That's like,
Lagway versus Miami.
That's like OU offense when you played.
Triple option offense.
Yeah.
And so listen.
Why do I got to force plays to him though?
He's the only.
I got to run the ball.
Are you going to throw it to Cedric Tillman?
I got to force plays.
You going to throw it to Cedric Tillman?
No, I don't want to throw.
Paid the guy $40 million to score.
I didn't tell him to pay him $40 million.
Well, they did though.
Yeah, they did.
They did, but that doesn't. They also paid Deshaun Watson $230 million, and we're not going to force him either. I hope. You're right. He's not been a reliable receiver. When you're a receiver, you have what's your job? Get open and catch the ball, right? He has more drops in the last 2 years than any receiver in the National Football League. He has not been a reliable target.
And he doesn't consistently get open enough either.
What I wanted to say mostly on this topic was what Ross Tucker said when he was on here 2 weeks ago. There's no separation. He's like, look, where are you going to throw the football to? He he called the game. He said, I'm looking in the backfield. I'm looking in the defensive backfield. Everybody is covered on every play.
Well, Isaiah Bond wasn't this past week. He didn't throw the ball there.
So here's what we have to do. And, I mean, you can't fix the airplane when it's in the air. So we've got to land the plane, and we got to address this in the offseason. You're not going to miraculously come up with all-world wide receivers in the middle of this season. It's not going to happen.
I would question.
But you got Quinshawn Judkins.
Here's my question.
Run the ball.
You guys, this is when I watch, and I've been saying it for a long time. We've not dove into the weeds of watching what Kevin Stefanski. Our offense is high school. Like,
yeah,
when you watch,
but if guys aren't getting open,
I mean, because
it's going to look high school.
Because if you're running regular stick routes and sit downs at 5 yards in the league, that's not going to work. When you watch teams that are great offenses that are creative, they put plays in that make you have to respect certain things. Being a play caller is about creativity. It's about imagining, how do I get my guys in motion? How do I get my guys in an optimal position?
So in your mind, it's more X's and O's than Jimmy's and Joe's?
It's a combination of
because
both.
I've asked that question a million times.
It's a
from
combination.
guys that played in the NFL.
It's a combination of both. If you have dudes, right? This is the thing with the Cleveland Browns. You have to have a mixing pot. If you have dudes, which means I got Justin Jefferson, I got Jamar Chase. When it breaks down, I can go 50-50 ball with him, right? Jamar going to get open. Justin Jefferson going to get open. But when you don't have those guys, and you got guys and your offense isn't as creative as a Shanahan or a McVay, and you don't have these crazy concepts, now you're really in trouble, because now when it breaks down and you don't have, you're counting on Jerry Jeudy to use his physical talent to just get open and win.
And he doesn't have that kind of
He
talent.
doesn't have that kind of
he
talent.
doesn't.
So
It's
you got
a combination of all
guys,
this.
am
You're
I
right.
off?
I think the play calling, frankly, Kevin Stefanski's been overrated as a play caller. He had better talent with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry.
And it still didn't
wasn't
look
like
like
this
that.
was some high-powered offense.
Well, am I off when I say I just think everybody's looking at the passing game because that's what we do in the NFL. I think we've got him at running back. I think
but
we've got
how
that
often
guy.
do you want to run? You can't run every play.
No, but 18 isn't enough.
Well, how many do you want?
20,
Okay.
24, 25.
Fine.
Give me 5 carries a quarter,
Yeah.
and then in the fourth quarter, hopefully he's one of those backs that and the good ones get stronger as the game goes on. I think Leroy echoed my question when I answered my question the way I believe. Is he that guy? I think he's that guy. Now, I understand you want to ease him into it. Hell, he had one padded practice before his first NFL game.
Yeah.
You saw he was 6 yards a carry in that game, so let's increase his workload. Well, guess what? He didn't let us down. He almost had 100 yards rushing on limited work. So what I want to see a game plan where instead of using the run as complementary partially on the plate, I want that to be our entree. I want that to be the main course. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Because this much I know. Our offensive line will not hold up for pass block.
But here's the thing, Jay.
And we don't have receivers that get open. That's a terrible combination.
Nobody, you want 20 carries a game.
I want more than 20. I do.
Nobody averages more than 20 a game.
So?
Nope, not a single player in the league.
Once upon a time, guys could do it.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but
we don't do
evolution
that
of the
anymore.
human body has gotten worse?
I hear you, but
numbers got in the way.
Okay, let's even say they give him 25 carries a game, which they
Well,
won't,
that's a
but
lie.
okay.
There's one running back averaging 20 yards a carry, so please get your facts straight.
I said nobody's averaging more than 20 carries per game. That is what I said. Go back and listen to it.
Mikey, got to fight.
Jonathan Taylor is averaging exactly 20
He
carries
is.
a game.
No, I love him. Just busting his balls.
Bull.
No, I know.
Right.
I know.
But it come with them
You're
stats.
wrong.
I'm okay with
Up here.
using him 25 times a
Fine.
game. I
Let's say
am.
they
I
gave
just think
him-
he's that guy.
Let's say they gave him. You still got to throw the ball 25 times.
You know what we did with Nick Chubb?
No.
We put him on a pitch count, and guess what? Maybe Houston might benefit from that now.
But
all
Jay,
these extended years that we thought we
Jay,
were going to get on Nick Chubb, we didn't get.
I get what you're saying.
Use him while you got him.
Agreed. But
Okay.
even if you
Okay.
even if you give it to him 25 plays a game, that's still 25, 30, 35 plays. You got to give it to somebody else.
Can't do it.
Yeah,
Bull's right
listen,
on that one.
but to
do it.
Leroy's point,
Yeah.
you use the run to soften the defense.
But no one's scared of that. No one's scared
Listen,
of
they'll
that.
be scared of it if he's gashing him for 6 yards a
there-
game.
no one's scared.
You have other great running backs who are better than
Derrick
Quinshon
Henry.
Judkins.
Look at what the Colts are doing right now with mediocre quarterback play.
We're getting
mediocre quarterback
We're getting
play.
horrible
3 games,
quarterbacks.
let's see.
And
Yeah.
they're getting unbelievable play out of one guy, their running back. And all of a sudden, Danny Dimes looks like he's the best in the league.
Joe Flacco is the worst quarterback in the league.
Right. So I want to help him. I don't want
I
to hurt
know
him.
that, but
So if you unleash him,
Jay,
you're playing to the defense's
watch
strength.
how
I want
this-
more Joe Flacco throwing the ball.
Where did Joe Flacco play last year?
Indianapolis.
He was bad enough there that they let him go and got
Yes.
Danny Dimes.
Listen, I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing any of that. But you're making my point.
yeah.
So I don't want to lean on Joe Flacco.
So if they run,
I want to lean on Quinshon Judkins. I want to lean on our best weapon on
we get
offense.
it. I don't think anybody's disagreeing with you.
Okay, and
you still got to do other
still gotta-
things.
You
still
do,
got-
but
yeah.
Bull, I think if you become a run-first approach, I think you're helping Joe Flacco. If you just drop Joe back 45 times a game like you did the first 2 games, it's going to end badly.
Well, the first 2 games they had no choice. They were down big. Or the second
they
game,
really weren't.
The second game they were.
I mean, no, they weren't. The
In the
Ravens game and late in the third quarter was still a winnable football
the
game.
Bengals game was 50-50 run pass in the first half. You know, and then they first
threw
of
it
all
45 times.
The first game you can't even count because Quinshon didn't play.
I know, I'm not. But it's
Yeah,
saying he threw it 45 times, it was an L.
I know, but what
in
choice
week
did
2,
you
he threw
have?
it 45 times, it was an L. Last week, he
But-
threw it 30 times, we happened to win the game.
But Jay,
When a quarterback throws 45 times, are they going to win most of the time?
not if the quarterback's not any good.
Well, usually they don't. In
Well,
today's
if it's a good
NFL,
quarterback, they do. But
no, they don't.
what choice did you have in that first game? You had no running game.
I'm not talking about the first game.
You did. You brought up the first game.
As an example as to why I don't want
And
Joe Flacco throwing 45
and the
times.
second game, they lost by 30.
And they ran 40. They threw it 45 times. Bull, you're making my point. What I'm saying is, When you drop Joe Flacco, we all agree Joe Flacco's not the guy.
Yeah.
So why would we say let's drop him back and force it to Jerry Jeudy?
You're talking about 5. If you run the ball with Quinshon 5 more times a game, that's not a dramatic difference.
It isn't, but it worked, Bull. It worked in the last game. It worked.
It didn't work.
He had 100 yards. He almost had 100 yards rushing.
I understand. Their win had 0 to do with the offense.
They won the game.
But it had 0 to do with the offense.
Well, I mean, he scored a touchdown from the 1 yard line. That when they didn't run the ball, what happened?
I hear you, but the win had 0 to do with the offense.
They had the ball on the 1 yard line with first and goal, and they tried to get
next,
cute.
Mikey?
And what happened?
Sustainability.
It ended up 4th and goal from the 20.
Here's the thing.
I hear you.
They got down there again, first and goal from the 1.
But they won with him carrying the ball 18 times, not 25.
That's okay. You're not going to continue to do that.
We're in the minutia. Guys, we're in the minutia of it. Listen, the reality of the situation, Dustin knows this. Yes, you can run the ball more, but the game is won intermediately 15 to 25 yards. If you cannot complete passes 15 to 25 yards, eventually they will stop the run because they have the numbers and they will.
You guys are just like putting this offense in a box after one game. I know it's been 3 games, but I mean they're not playing the Packers this week. So it's going to be different. Yeah. So to sit here and argue about 25 carries versus 18 carries, guys, the game dictates how many carries a guy gets by the fourth quarter.
Right, exactly.
To beat Detroit, what do you want to do?
Whatever it takes.
You want to keep their offense off the field.
Whatever it takes, yeah.
No, I know, but to beat Detroit, you don't want their offense on the field. I thought they did a great job against Cincinnati, keeping that high-powered offense off the field. They should have won the game, let's face it. They should have lost last week. They still should be 1-2, but they should have won.
They should have won week 1 and lost this past game.
100%.
So they should be 1-2. Either way,
that's exactly right.
Yeah. Either way, though, they played the Packers tough.
They did. No, they
and they put themselves in a position to win the game. They got lucky. Like they play that. If that game goes the exact same way, and Packers line up to kick that game-winning field goal 100 times, they're going to win it like 97 times.
Yeah, I just think they won the game they should have lost the game they should have won. Here nor there. If I'm looking at Detroit and I'm putting together a game plan, how am I going to beat Detroit? I think at the top of the list, or damn near it, is let's just make sure that their offense isn't on the field for 30-plus minutes. If they can do this, I don't think they're going to beat Detroit, but if they can limit Detroit to the time of possession that Cincinnati had, I will say they have a chance to win the game.
Well, but they didn't run the ball well. You talking about running the ball. They didn't run it in that Bengals game.
They didn't, but they had 31 pass completions, most of them for 3 or 4 or 5 yards, and that was kind of like an extended run game. So, and by the way, I don't want to see that again.
Leroy just said don't call it an extended run game.
No, I don't want to see that again. Yeah. I don't. What I want to see is...
But you just said you want to see what they did against Cincinnati. They threw the ball.
They ran the ball for 2.0 yards per carry against Cincinnati.
Right.
50 rushing yards.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So what I want to see is... I want to see 80-yard drives from the Browns that take 8.5 minutes off the clock.
How are they going to do that?
They did it against Cincinnati, Bull.
The Bengals got the worst defense in football.
Okay, I don't think the Lions have a great defense, by the way.
It's a lot better than the Bengals.
It is better than the Bengals.
It's better, but it's not.
But their offense, Detroit's offense, I don't think anybody's going to give me an argument here. Detroit's offense is one of the best in the NFL.
But guys,
it's good.
Don't let them work.
Unless they play the Packers.
This is not.
Yeah, the Packers did a great job.
The segment started with how do you get Jerry?
They look like the Browns against the Packers.
I got a stat for Jerry Jeudy.
They did.
To mention
Jerry Jeudy stat.
I texted you guys a screenshot because Next Gen Stats doesn't number their rankings, but I want you guys to be able to see how far down I had to scroll. They track the average separation each receiver gets on a route ran. The parameters is a minimum of 10 targets this season. So this is all receivers with at least 10 targets. Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman rank, I don't know the number of how many, but like I said, I texted you guys the video. About 7 scrolls down on the list.
Oh, my God, I'm looking at it
and near the very, very bottom. Both Tillman and Jeudy are averaging just 2 yards of separation per route run this season. David Njoku slightly better at 2.1.
They don't number them because it looks like there are 100 receivers down the list.
They don't number them. That's why I screenshot it to show you how much I had to scroll.
And that's the Jimmies and Joes that
I wasn't going to count.
About. I just don't think. I don't think. I've said it all along. Our receiving core might be the worst in the NFL. It's coming to fruition, but the cake is made. You got to eat it the way it's made because you're not going to change it now. But these were things that desperately needed to be addressed in the offseason. And again, I'll say it again. This team has a major blind spot when it comes to wide receivers and projecting wide receiver talent.
Again, I would like to say it as the, chairman and captain of Project Stockpile. this is my laid back energy because I've been Bushman screaming this at the top of a heap stack.
Can we get one?
For six, we've been on this show for this many years, and I keep telling, every time we get one receiver, we be like, oh, we don't need this guy because we got this guy. Every time we say draft a receiver, no, we're not going to draft receivers. We're not going to draft receivers. We need to go get something else. And I'm like, listen, man, if you can't, this is what they built. They built the machine. They haven't went and spent no picks or no free agency on no big time receivers.
No, they have, but they didn't. They fell flat.
On who?
We've drafted third round receivers 3 times, and they're out of the league.
We ain't talking about the third round. We talking about these guys. These guys, when you got dudes with Justin Jefferson and Addison, and they got 2-3 receivers on their roster that can get it done. We got one in a possible.
Would you agree with this? Before you can stockpile anything, you need at least one. I want stockpile too, but I'd settle for one.
They do have one. Jeudy is one receiver.
He's probably 130th in terms of separation.
But here's the thing.
That's based on 3 games.
Here's the way it works.
I saw it last year, too.
He had 1,200 yards last year.
If you get Jerry Jeudy,
wasn't an all-pro,
and who I believe is a nice number 2 receiver, and you get you a number 1, you'll be surprised how everything changes.
I would be fine with
Jeudy
Jeudy
as
as a 2.
60 yards this week. Watch.
I'd be fine with Jeudy as a 2. Because he is a 2. I don't think he's a 1.
He's not an elite 1, but
he's led the league.
There's not 30 receivers better than him, but whatever, it doesn't matter.
I wonder where he ranked in the average.
They are.
He's a 1 on some teams.
Yeah.
Would you take him as a wide receiver 1 on your fantasy team? I know it's different.
No, fantasy is
I know.
different.
I know.
The Browns.
I don't know that there's not 30 receivers that
when we talk through this stuff, and I know Jason Lloyd says,
there's not 30 you take.
This is a soft reset, McNuggets.
I did it.
This is not no soft
20.
reset. This is not a soft reset. Like you, these are major glaring holes. As great as they did, you still need tackles. You need receivers. Your quarterback of the future ain't identified. You ain't even playing. They're not getting no experience.
They have 1 wide receiver, 2 tight ends, and one running back.
And that's
all they got. Actually, they got 1 tight end because Njoku's a free agent at the end of the year.
And the best defense in the league.
All right, guys, speaking of that defense, that's what we're going for our next topic, brought to us by Mazda. For those who believe it's not just about playing the game, it's about redefining it, because these moments do more than win. They push what's possible, reminding us to go that extra yard, shift into the extra gear, and keep the game moving forward. When you follow what moves you, the unexpected is only the beginning. And just like there's more to every highlight, there's more to every Mazda. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, guys, if you watched Monday Night Football, you saw the Detroit Lions run all over the Baltimore Ravens. 38 carries, 224 yards, and 4 touchdowns on the ground. Now, this season, there has been no team in football better than the Cleveland Browns at slowing down opposing running backs. If you look at who they've played through the first 3 weeks, Chase Brown, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, it's a pretty darn good trio of running backs. And in totality, the Browns have held those 3 running backs to 48 carries, 96 total yards, and 1 touchdown, which came in week 1 against Chase Brown. That is 48 carries, 96 total yards for Jacobs, Henry, and Chase Brown combined, and 1 touchdown. Next up, obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Dustin, in your opinion, what has made the Browns' run defense this year so effective at chopping down some of the league's best backs?
Well, I think number 1, it's more the interior, the defensive line that, you got Graham, Collins, those guys inside have done a really nice job taking on double teams and allowing our other dudes, like Schlesinger just is running around like with his hair is on fire. Like it's fun to watch. And then, we've got corners that tackle. I don't know. I think overall, in general, the Browns fundamentally are very, very sound with the way that they play, with their fits. Myles Garrett is somebody that everyone's scared of. They try to run away from him. And so I think it allows the defense to kind of just anticipate a little bit where the ball's going to go. And they have picked the right calls, and they've done a really good job. And it's going to be more challenging as they go throughout the rest of the year. This weekend will probably be the toughest test because those 2 backs, I mean, they're so lucky to have those guys. It is, I mean, Montgomery and Gibbs are. There's not a better combo in the league, I don't think.
Yeah,
no. I mean, most teams would be thrilled to have either one, and they have 2.
Yeah,
and they relied on those guys really in the second half against Baltimore. I mean,
they were both great.
If you look at the stats of that game, It was something like in the first half, Goff threw for like 160 yards or something. You know what he threw for in the second half? 45.
Yeah, he's barely over 200.
And they scored like 26 points in the second half. So it was mostly on the ground. And
so that's kind of their strength versus our strength, right?
That's what's going to be really interesting to see.
In your opinion, and G, I'm curious for your thoughts on this too. When you have the immovable force and the unstoppable object or whatever, does the number one run defense win out versus the number one run offense? Or is it the other way around?
Well, I think it depends on also how your offense is playing. And, I mean, like, you watch that game, that Baltimore game on Monday night, and I just watched Baltimore's defense just get worn out.
Tired.
They were on the field all day. And then the Lions they kept just, like, stepping on their throat and just pushing and pushing and pushing until eventually they couldn't do anything against it. So, I mean, I think their objective was very similar to what the Browns' objective is this week, which is to keep the Lions' offense on the sidelines.
Sure.
You think they wanted Lamar Jackson on the field? Hell no.
No, they didn't.
You see, at the end of the first half, like the Ravens get down to the 2-yard line, 1-yard line, and somehow Derrick Henry can't score. And then they go for it on fourth down and they don't get it. Well, the Lions come right out. They go 3 and out. Ravens get the ball with a minute.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 touchdown. A minute.
In good territory.
So they don't want Lamar Jackson on the field, just like we don't want Jared Goff on the field. I don't anticipate the Lions having the same game plan this week that they had last week.
Yeah, it's so.
No, because they won't need to score that many points.
Bingo.
When you are, let's say, like when you got a team like they got, right? When you're a defensive lineman and you going against a run game like that, what you got to realize is you need energy from your offense. You need it's almost like deposits and withdrawals, right? You know what I'm saying? When you putting money in,
so you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
right? You
complimentary.
You build up some good grace, and then we're gonna make them withdrawals, right?
Bingo.
Because now I'm like, okay, well, the offense is playing over their head. The game plan is aggressive, and when the game plan offensively sometimes is aggressive, and you see the offense score points, now it gives you a little more opportunity to be more aggressive on defense because you figuring, hey, those guys over there, they got it going today. They giving us something today. They got running game. They throwing the ball. We don't got to be playing where we tentative and scared. We can blitz a little more. We can get a little more exotic. So the problem with the Lions is it's not just the run game. The run game is like that because you got to respect the passing game. They got a tight end can kill you.
Yep.
They got Jameson Williams can get deep. Amon St. Brown, listen, they got 3 dudes that is a problem. Each one of those present an issue. So
and
now,
a great tight end.
So now, the best offensive line. So it's not like they can't run the ball with receivers outside. It ain't like they got a heavy running game where it's just we got a pound guy where he's gonna run it up in the middle, he's gonna get 4 yards. They got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Screen game. Yeah. They got everything that can challenge you. So, you know, like Dustin said, when those guys keep you on the field and now it's a threat of anything coming, if the Browns offense, they have to give the defense some sort of energy level so that they can continue to play at this level because this is not if you're going to play like, and I don't want people to get lulled to sleep. If you feel like the Browns can do what they did to the Packers and they can play that way and the defense going to bail them out, you're going to have a rude awakening.
That's not a game plan to win.
It don't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
I think that
You'll kill the defense.
Yeah.
this is, even though they've played 3 really, really good offensive teams, and Jared Goff is at best the third of 4 quarterbacks they've faced so far, to me, this is the toughest test for the Browns defense, and here's why. The Bengals have a major flaw. Their offensive line is not good. The Ravens are, even though they throw the ball, they are such a run team that if you're the Browns defensively, you're completely focused on that run. Now, you usually can't stop it. They were able to, okay? And their offensive line's kind of shaky right now, too. Green Bay, everybody got carried away on Green Bay the first 2 weeks. It was kind of embarrassing. But if you look at Green Bay's skill positions, they don't have the talent that Detroit has. They're not even close.
Yeah, they got.
They are not close.
No, I think this is the most balanced and deepest offense in the NFL.
It's one of the better offensive lines. It's the best running game. It's, Probably
I'd put up their coach against a lot of coaches.
Good
Yeah,
coach.
no, that's fair.
They're aggressive.
top 5.
They don't punt.
They barely punt.
Top 5 wide receiving core. Top 5 tight end.
Yes.
The quarterback's not great, but he's good. He's solid.
Serviceable.
Top 10.
You know, and so
Been to the
I
Super
think
Bowl.
the Browns. I think the Browns defense
Almost
will not
twice.
be at quite as good this week. But if they are, that's going to really open my eyes because I already think they're excellent. But if they like, as you talked about, the Lions are so well balanced, and like the Packers were balanced. But first of all, Packers lost a couple offensive linemen in that game.
Yep,
they were
early.
beat up on the offensive line, and who they got in the passing game?
You ain't really scared by that.
Nobody who's that good.
Yeah.
Well, their best receivers hurt.
Yeah, well, you ain't really scared by that.
They don't have anybody special.
Yeah,
Josh
Josh
Jacobs, nice back.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
nice back. But Jameer Gibbs is as good as any back in the league. He's top 5 back. David Montgomery is the thunder to his lightning, is excellent in that role. I mean, Jamison Williams, he barely even gets talked about. The guy's really good. They're deep. They've played together a long time. Everybody started that nonsense about Ben Johnson because their offense wasn't good the first week. Now they've scored 90 points the last 2 weeks. So they've already faced 3 big challenges. But I think this is the biggest one yet. And if they can play dominant defensively against the team, and plus, unlike 2 of the last 3 games, this is on the road.
Hey.
We know the Lions are better at home because they're fast on that turf.
They'll try to, and Dustin, their attitude, they trying to get you up out of here.
Yeah.
They are not, some teams play that gentleman, that brother-in-law ball.
No, they
going to be ready.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell's history, when they play bad teams, they don't just beat them.
They're gonna try to get
They
you up
beat
out
them
of
into
here.
the ground. Look what they did to the Bears.
They'll put up 40
Yeah.
if they want to.
I
I don't think they can.
Here's what's
but-
interesting.
this
I don't
defense
think they
is
can against this defense. The Browns have the number 1 defense in terms of yards allowed. Number 1. They're averaging just over 200 yards allowed per game. That's insane.
By far the best. For the
Yes, it's like 20 yards better than
By
the second best offense, or defense rather, per game. So, and here's the remarkable thing about that, Bull, and you made this point. They're not doing it against bad offenses.
Right. Yeah.
They're doing it against 3 teams that when you looked at their offense on paper before the season started, you thought had the ability to score 35 points against the Browns defense the way they played last year. I'm fascinated to see, to me, I think this will decide the game. Can the Browns defense do to Detroit's offense what they've done 3 weeks in a row to really, really good offenses? I tend to lean towards no, because it's hard to do something great 4 times in a row, and I agree with you. I think this Detroit offense is better than the previous 3. I just do. They're deeper. They have more options. They totally changed their game plan at halftime. We got to run the ball. We'll run the ball. That's cool.
Well, they had
it.
a drive that was 97 yards. It took up 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. Usually, if you have one of those in a game, you win that game.
And they only passed 5 times in that drive.
You want to hear a crazy
Wow.
stat, Dustin?
How many
on that?
plays was it?
It was like 18.
That's impressive. Not
Crazy
many run games can pull that off.
Yeah.
Crazy stat on that.
Yeah.
In this game, the Detroit Lions had 2 drives of over 95 yards.
Jeez.
In the fourth quarter, 7-play, 96-yard drive. In the second quarter, an 18-play,
That was right.
98-yard drive that took 11 minutes of game clock.
That's half
The
the game.
Ravens, you ready for this, though? The Ravens had not allowed a 95-yard drive or longer in 20 years.
And they
2 in 1
2
game.
in 1 game.
2 in 1 game.
And we get to see that
That is
offense.
wild.
We'll talk
That's
about
incredible.
By the way, the Browns scored 3 real points against that same defense. Just worth mentioning.
I mean, was it even that came off a turnover and a 55-yard field goal? No,
No, the first
we did
touch-
have the
the
first
first
field goal,
field
yeah.
goal, yeah.
And that was a good-looking drive.
Yeah. That was their only good-looking drive.
Bull
was.
said something earlier that's worth mentioning. When he was talking to Leroy, Leroy said that, Jameis Winston and Joe Flacco, they can throw for 300, 400 yards, and then the next week they can, throw for 3 picks. We ain't seen the 300 from Joe. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't know if I want to. I'm trying to drill down on it a little more. I don't know if Kevin is so hard on Joe being like, no turnovers, that it's really done changed his mentality where he's not willing to make those same throws that he was throwing. I don't know if it's the fact that he don't have it in him or it's the fact that it's just like, no, I'm being coached out of doing certain things. But the reality of the situation, the main thing, the main good aspect of Joe Flacco was when he came off the couch was he was playing with reckless abandon. He was playing like he didn't care. Like, oh, this is my last opportunity. I'm going to go out swinging. And some of the throws that you saw to Amari Cooper where he throws into a triangle in the Bears game, some of the throws he comes out against the Rams, and it's just like, wow, he's throwing to Elijah Moore like Elijah Moore is him. Mm-hmm. It just seems like now, and it's even more evident, even with the flea flicker check down. I say, yo, he's checking it down to the tight end. But if you just look and see, sometimes when the pressure hits you and then they telling you to get rid of the ball, it closes your mind.
I think I have an explanation as to why. It's you have to look at it in a macro. When he came here in the Browns situation, it was late in the season and the playoffs were within reach. It was a long shot, but it was within reach. So that's kind of like the fourth quarter of a game. We can't be conservative. We got to air it out. We got to go for it. They did, and they won. Now you get to this year, he's 2 years older. Mm-hmm. I think the receiving core is very similar or not as good as it was 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think in the early stages of the season, if you don't have to take those risks, you don't. And he's become check down Charlie Brown because it's safe. It's the easy way out. If this were the last 3 weeks of the season and we were in a playoff hunt, I don't think he'd be doing that. He better not be doing that if we get to that point, which I don't think we will.
I think as a quarterback, you can't do that ever. I think you have to. It's a certain
play them all like it's last.
No, you have to play it like. Obviously, I'm not saying throw the ball with reckless abandon, but there are 4 to 5 throws every single week that starting quarterbacks have to throw, and then them is big boy throws.
Yeah,
the big boy throws where I'm throwing it, I'm anticipating, or I'm throwing it, I'm gonna give my dude the opportunity, or I'm throwing it. And it's close, but he understands that at this league, the margins is so razor thin that there's only 4 or 5 plays that with a bad team and deficient talent that is going to get you there, right? And he has to throw those.
And you miss those opportunities, like you're not going to get them back.
But guys, the narrative on Flacco has been what? The interceptions. So Joe's not deaf to the criticism. Joe knows what that is. Joe knows very well. If you were to ask Joe with truth serum, what kills you? Well, the picks. He's even said last week in an interview, he said, I got to throw fewer interceptions. I think what he's doing is kind of like the pitcher who gives up way too many home runs for his ERA. He's a good pitcher, but man, he gets clobbered for a lot of home runs. Why? He's hitting the sweet spot. So what does that pitcher do? He dances on the edges. He doesn't throw it in the sweet spot
but he's
anymore.
Still throwing picks.
He's thrown 3 in 3 games.
4.
Is it 4?
It's 4, yeah.
2 in week 1. One last week or 2 last week?
He had 1 against Baltimore.
So he's thrown one. So he's thrown 1 in every game.
A
Hail Mary in this one.
Okay. We talked about the 2.
And he should have had
the 2 against Cincinnati.
He should have had one.
I know, but if you look at those throws, forget about the outcome. Obviously, it was horrible. But if you look at those throws aren't throws that are typically interceptions. And the Hail Mary, so it's really, he's thrown one that was horrible. He's thrown one that should have been an interception that wasn't. I do think that it's human nature for a quarterback to try to avoid what his kryptonite is. And his kryptonite is the interception. How do you lessen the interceptions? You stop taking big chances when you don't need to.
You can't win when you never take chances.
I'm not going to argue that point. Yeah. I won't argue that point. Yeah. The close to the vest is never going to get you to the promised land. No. Never. You're going to have to, at some point, you're going to have to start taking chances. And what Joe Flacco has been over the last decade of his career, when he takes chances, you see his interception ratio go through the roof. And when you're living on this razor's edge of the Browns where you can't make mistakes, one interception in a game can cost you the game.
But what I'm saying is he's still throwing 1 interception a game even without taking the chances. Even if you take away those 2 for the first game and you add the 1 that he missed, it's still 3.
Well, I don't count the Hail Mary against him, though. Actually,
that wasn't a Hail Mary.
Actually, you know what? I mean, we
call that a Hail Mary.
No, it wasn't a Hail Mary, but
that's not a real Hail Mary.
You know what it was?
It was an end of half desperation throw.
Technically,
it wasn't to the end zone, but it was
called a Hail Mary. Did you guys watch the Manning cast Monday?
What's that?
Did you guys watch the Manning cast Monday? Oh my God, they did a segment where, and it reminded me of what we were talking about Peyton Manning. 5 rules changes that he wants to see.
Yeah.
And he had them on a whiteboard. And one of them was the Hail Mary should not count against you. We had just talked about that, how,
Right.
And it all was started, McNuggets, by, he kicked it off by saying
The NBA.
The NBA just changed the rule, exactly what McNuggets brought to the table last week. But while it was, a lot of it was tongue-in-cheek, a lot of it was pretty serious, too. There was a point behind all of his rules changes. But that interception was so bizarre to me because it was a punt. It was fourth down, and Green Bay was celebrating like they just made the greatest play in the world. It cost them 35 yards of field position.
That was
like, I don't know. I don't even know why you would.
Yeah, I don't know.
Intercept the ball.
I guess I look at it like this week. Again, I always say, hey Kevin, let's get creative, bro. You're gonna have to let it fly, let it hang. You gotta figure a way.
Like Luke Whippler catching a pass screen.
I told you, I gave you a pass on that. I didn't even hammer you on like I was supposed to get you, Kevin. I better not see no more post corners by center. Like, this man really had him out in the route bull. It was wild work. No, I just think, look, the protection scheme is another thing. Here's another thing, though, too. When you watch up front, it's like they don't know what they're doing. They still block the wrong people. It'll be two guys blocking one person. I seen Joe Batonio and Wyatt Teller on a pool play, both blocked the same guy, and the guy that they let go made a tackle in the backfield. I think you can get a little better in a run game if you shore up your assignments. And by the way, it's sad to DeJuan Jones, when you watch him play, he wasn't even getting to the next level. He wasn't getting, he's supposed to move and block the first level, get to the second level. The Cleveland Browns have a lot of linebackers making plays that are coming free clean. So this week it don't get no easier. You got Aiden Hutchinson coming into town, or you come in his building. He's going to play hard, and he's a game wrecker. So, every week presents something different. But I will say this, you still have Myles Garrett. So when you got Myles Garrett, you're going to have an opportunity. And the thing about the Cleveland Browns is I do think they legit. I do think that they got other guys that is dogs. That Huntington guy, for
Aiden
Hutchinson?
No. I thought you were talking about our fullback.
No,
our big guy.
Yeah. Listen,
isn't it Aidington or what's
Aiden Huntington?
Aiden Huntington.
Yeah. So Huntington, he's nice, man.
I like him a lot.
He's nice. Like Jim Schwartz finally got his mix. And I would love playing for Jim Schwartz because y'all don't really got no responsibilities, really. It's just get in the backfield. Get in the backfield. Like,
see ball, get ball.
There it is. Like, and it's a nightmare playing against teams like that because they're not even reading all that pulling guard with your keys. Nah, there's three dudes up there just trying to put you in the backfield and with a nasty attitude. That's what slows down running backs. Don't give them the opportunity to bounce and cut and probe and give you the Le'Veon Bell slow feet. And nah, we're not doing all that. We gonna get you in the backfield, dog.
Last thing on this before we move on. The one thing that gives me slight concern about this Lions run game that the other three teams maybe haven't presented is something we've seen teams take advantage of against Jim Schwartz's defense in the past, and that's the misdirection. And the Lions run a ton of misdirection, especially with Gibbs. We saw on the fourth down play late in the fourth quarter, Dustin, you alluded to it, but the handoff to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who then turned into the option quarterback, pitched it to Gibbs for the walk-in touchdown. The Lions get creative in ways that they get Gibbs and Montgomery into space. And, G, you've talked about the over-pursuit from the Schwartz's defense. So just something to keep an eye on come Sunday.
Can we steal that play? Oh, I'm sorry. We
had a lot of fun plays.
We don't have Gibbs.
Awesome. How much would you love playing for a guy like Dan Campbell?
Well, I mean, it's a fun guy to play for because they win, and what they're doing is having success. So like his like attitude, it's infectious for a team. But I've been on teams where guys were very similar to him. Like they're like motivators. I mean, like, I don't know. The Browns have had coaches that you'd be like, man, I would love to play for Mike Patton. I mean, there were some coaches, not just here, but other places that I've had.
Mike Tice.
But if you don't have a quarterback,
Mike Tice was like that.
But if you don't have a quarterback, like Mike Tice was a great coach until Dante Culpepper tore his knee up.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
got to have a quarterback. You got to have some dudes, and
the players make the coaches look a lot better.
For sure. It's easy to. Well, it's not easy, but it's easier to be the fun coach that's creative when you got dudes who are just make it look easy.
It's also easy to play coach like you're playing a game of Madden.
Yeah.
When you had, they picked up a big fourth down late in that game on a pass route that Dan Campbell called the play. They talked to Goff about it afterwards in the interview, and he mentioned, I wanted to use that play a couple times earlier in the game because it was there, and Campbell kept saying, nope, we're going to use it when we need it. And they needed that pickup in that spot, and they called it. It was risky. You're throwing the ball in that situation. You can stop the clock. You can help Baltimore immensely. They called it. It worked to perfection. They took a couple knees, and they got out of there with a win.
The Lions can get away with a lot more because their offense allows for that room. Like, they can score 30 points easily against anybody.
Yep.
And if I told you right now that they score 30 points against the Browns on Sunday, you'd say that the Browns will probably lose.
Yeah.
Are we going to do the spread question, Mike? Or are we going to skip over that?
We're going to skip over that because I got
Okay.
two more things.
Can I just quickly ask, is 8.5 a fair spread for you guys? Because
I think it should be about 10.5.
I do too. I think that's a couple points low in my mind.
I think 8.5 is reasonable.
You think it's fair?
Because of
What
the
about
Browns'
you, G?
defense
Do
has
you think
been
it's
so
fair?
good.
Of course, it should be higher.
I thought so too.
Mike was trying to make it seem like it was too high.
I watched the game.
No, it's not too. No,
pretty much
Mike, wasn't that your thought going into the question?
Oh, I didn't know that's where you
No,
were going.
I
with
was
it.
just asking what you guys thought. I always
okay.
give you both sides. Is it
Yeah.
too high? Is it too low? Where do you
And he
go?
did in the setup. He did, but I think I would say I would give 10.5.
I watched the Browns get no points and no yards for
56 minutes.
yeah.
So, all right, guys, we got one last topic before we wrap things up a little early today because Bull has a story for us. I got a story for us, and we got a bunch of super chats. We're going to talk Cavs, though. They made a signing yesterday. Before we talk a little Cavs, a quick reminder that if you want more UCSS content, you can always follow us on our social media accounts. It is Alt Clee Sports on both Twitter and Instagram, Ultimate Clee Sports Show on TikTok. You can find all that extra content there. We got some cool reels. EP Steve's son Luke does a great job putting some videos and pictures in with our takes, and it's a really cool product on the back end. So check out all the UCSS social media accounts if you want even more UCSS content. All right, guys, real quick, 5 minutes before we get to Super Chats, but the Cavs made their final full roster signing yesterday. Instead of re-signing Tristan Thompson, they opted to bring in Thomas Bryant as their 14th man on the roster. If you remember, he played on the Pacers in the finals last year, so comes with some legit finals experience. Was also on the Nuggets when they won the championship a couple years ago. He may be most known for being in the picture of LeBron James scoring his NBA record-breaking point on that fadeaway jump shot against OKC, and Thomas Bryant in the post calling for the ball on that shot. It's a hysterical picture. I'll put it in the tag board in a second. But, G, what do you think of the Thomas Bryant signing here for the Cavs? A low-risk, high-potential reward move for them.
Well, I mean, maybe Tristan, he done used all of his last little bit of eligibility in the league, man. But listen, he played for us last year. I remember Thomas Bryant playing for the Pacers and hitting a three and being super upset about it. He came in one of them blowout games in Indiana with that nasty gray-looking court that they got. He hit
that court.
You can't tell. You can tell I'm still bitter. But yeah, he hit a couple of shots, man. So I mean, it's a guy who has played. I think he's more in the mode of actually having something left in the tank if you actually need to use him. So I like that. I like the move, and I like what the Cavs did this year. They done added a lot of guys with Nance, Lonzo Ball. They added so many new dudes that I just completely am really waiting for the regular season. I want to see it. Sam Merrill's starting now. I'm excited about it.
Mike, you called it a low-risk move. I'd say it's a no-risk move. This is a no-brainer. I mean, you take a guy Tristan Thompson, who at this point is a useless player. He has no value as a player.
Especially in big series.
Right. I understand he has some value in terms of a teammate, but he has zero value as a player. This guy was a legitimate NBA player. I mean, he's playing double-digit minutes for a team that went to the finals, for crying out loud. So, and he's been if you look per minute, his numbers are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I didn't expect the Cavs to be able to get another player who could actually play real minutes.
Mike,
seems like a really good move.
I would characterize this as one of those low-key moves that in May and June, commentators doing the games that paid little attention to this move throughout the year suddenly say, this is exactly why they went out and made this move. I feel like it's a huge upgrade from Tristan. And I like Tristan, but he's the Austin Hedges of the Cavs. He's there because he's a good, locker room guy, and everybody loves him, and the city loves him. But when push comes to shove, are you going to pinch hit Hedges in a playoff game? You're not. No. And when push comes to shove in a playoff series, are you going to give Tristan meaningful minutes? You're not. But this guy, I think, the proof is in the pudding. He got meaningful minutes last year in the finals.
Yeah, part of the reason he played for Indiana was some injuries, and their other backup big, Tony Bradley, was just a horrific matchup against how OKC played. So his minutes were really sporadic. He played 20 minutes in some games. He didn't play at all in other games. So
did he disappoint when he played, in your view? Was he effective?
He's an up-and-down guy. He's a guy that can come in. And I think the Cavs needed this, by the way. I think it's a great signing. I'm a little upset that they announced it an hour after we left the press conference with Kobe and Kenny because I would have loved to ask them about this.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, Thomas Bryant was with the Knicks all summer, like working out with the Knicks, fully anticipating signing with the Knicks. And I think the Cavs came up and gave him a guaranteed offer.
How common is that a free agent like
relatively,
that?
I mean, he would have been in the same roster position for the Knicks, but they have more big man depth.
No, I get it, but for him to actually be working, he hadn't signed his, he wasn't a member of the Knicks, but he was working out with them?
To my knowledge, from what I was told, he was like going through summer workouts. The plan was for him to go to training camp with the Knicks and fight for a roster spot, but it wasn't guaranteed. Cavs came through with a guaranteed contract. He comes to Cleveland. And it's a great, like I said, I think it's I don't want to categorize it as a great pickup because in a perfect world, Thomas Bryant doesn't play. In a perfect world, Thomas Bryant in a playoff situation.
But in the playoffs, injuries happen. You need depth.
And now, when you look at the Cavs and you look at what they lacked prior to this signing, it was you like some of the depth here. Understand it's not perfect, but they don't really have real size behind Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. You have Larry Nance, but he's an undersized big. Thomas Bryant's 6'11", 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Like he is a real big with some relative athleticism, and he's a three-point shooter, guys. He shot in the playoffs last year, granted small volume, 50% from three.
I don't like that.
How many?
I didn't like it last year.
But
when he was playing,
he could step in and make a three.
He's another option from outside, and God, which team wouldn't want that?
And he's not necessarily like a rim protector. He's not great in pick and roll defense, but he's big, he's active, and he's an energy guy. And when you look at, I'm going to use Mo Wagner. I know people hate Mo Wagner in Cleveland.
Oh, I love him if I could get him.
Well, he's not on the trade market. The Cavs can't get him. But I love Mo Wagner too. But he's the kind of guy that comes in and in a 4-minute spurt just plays with his hair on fire and plays at a frenetic pace that can kind of change the tempo and the feel of a game, even if it's not necessarily all pot. He may take a dumb foul, but it may be a dumb foul that ignites the. You know what I'm saying? Like he's kind of an X-factor wild card guy that you may not always get the best version of Thomas Bryant, but 7 games, 3 or 4 times, he can come in and give you some real legit minutes off the bench if you need him. So,
real quick,
small margin move. But I'm a big fan because I do think he could be a guy, if you need to be counted on, could be counted on later in the season.
Real quick, what's the rotation? What's the rotation that you start out, given the fact that
with everybody healthy?
Starting off the regular because what's the name is out with the
starting off the year.
Yeah.
You're missing Strus and DG.
So how this working?
Kenny and Kobe talked yesterday, I got the impression that we'll see Darius much sooner than we'll see Max Strus.
Wow! Did you get a sense what the time frame is on either?
Darius, I think Darius can miss about 10 games. He'll be back sooner. I think Strus.
Does it really matter if he misses 10 or 20?
No. Not even the slightest. Okay. I think Strus, though, we're probably looking late December or January.
Yeah, I thought
maybe
first of the
February.
year with him.
So, yeah. The rotation, though, and then we'll wrap up on this and we'll get to the Super Chats and Bulls playing story, which I'm very excited to hear. You're looking at Donovan, Lonzo, and Proctor kind of switching in that one role. You have, I think Merrill's going to end up starting at the 2. And then the other one, like, you can mix all the guards together. You know what I'm saying? Like Craig Porter Jr. is in that mix, too. But you have 5 guards for those 2 spots. You have DeAndre Hunter and Dean Wade as your 3 rotation. You got Evan and Larry Nance Jr. at your 4. And you got Jared Allen, Thomas Bryant at your 5.
Okay.
You happy with your boy landing in Philly?
Yeah. I talked to Big Nuggets about that. Shout out a little 2-way deal. You know what I'm saying? A little 2-way deal. He's in Philly.
Who's your boy?
Imani Bates.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mike, do me a favor. Give me a wake-up call for the Cavs on April 20th, please.
Sir, yes, sir. All right, guys, let's do Super Chats, and then we'll get to Bull's story. But we're going to do Super Chats first to make sure we get those through before we dive into Bull's story. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate everyone who tunes into UCSS every day. You guys make our job the best in the world. All right, Super Chats. Bill Rodewalt says, thanks for the post-game show, Bull. It was great.
Thank you.
Did you do one last night?
I did a podcast last night. Immediately after the show, I had a ton of people. I think it's got over 8,000 views already by this morning. So a lot of people were on live.
God, I love to hear that. We need interest in this team.
So join me again tonight. I'll be on again. I came on maybe 4 minutes after the game ended last night. I'm going to do about the same thing tonight.
Kirk Davis says, Cleveland Guardians still hate the Yankees. # go Yankees. James Mace Jr. said, Jay, after watching the film, do you still think Isaiah Bond was covered?
I haven't seen the film. I want to see the film, but I haven't. I'm
going to take an L for Jay there. He takes an L on that one.
I do want to see the film.
We just got to move on for that.
I do want to see the film before I decide it. The people that I did place a call in hopes that we could get somebody that you guys all love, because I've heard you all say you love them. But it's a exclusivity problem right now that he's trying to work through. He said I might actually be able to come on to break down. And by the way, I don't know where he stands on it, which would be great because we would all learn together. Unfortunately, right now it looks like, and I hate this, these companies that hold guys to exclusivity is so stupid. I mean, I know you work at ESPN.
Yeah.
They don't stop you from doing this. No. Yet they stop a lot of their other people from doing even podcast appearances.
That's ridiculous.
Which is dumb.
It should not even be allowed.
It's free publicity.
All right, next one. Bill Rodewalt says, on the broadcast, they said the ball that hit Schneeman was not reviewable according to the rules.
Wait, the ball didn't hit Schneeman.
Fryman. Or Fry.
Right,
Fry.
No. I think what we were talking about.
Halpin play.
Yeah, no, it is reviewable. What happened was he waited too long. There's a time frame that you have to review a play.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And for some reason, they let that evaporate.
On the broadcast, they said it wasn't reviewable. Maybe it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They did say that, but that play's reviewable. I've seen that reviewed before.
What?
It's so is like a hit by pitch.
But that's not a hit by pitch. It's
different. I know it's not, but it's essentially a foul ball.
I know.
Was it a foul ball or was it a fair ball?
I know, but I'm not sure if that's reviewable.
Yeah, I took it because I heard that on the broadcast too. Yeah. I took it to say you can't review it now because the time had expired.
Maybe.
I just don't understand why Hinch waited so long. I would like a clarification.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense.
I can ask AI.
All right, next, Miss Bell 70 says, why buy a lottery ticket and not scratch it? I'm assuming she's referring to Shador. Kirk Davis says, I missed your live yesterday, G. Bush, but that guy that was on the radio made some good points. Don't get me wrong. I was drinking the red drink when we got Joe, but I wasn't expecting this version of Joe.
Yeah, man.
Brody's bottom line says, how much do you guys get paid to mention Deshaun every show? DB Dog
$230 million.
I don't think. Well, Jay mentions him. I don't think the rest of us mention him very often at this point. Even Jay doesn't mention him that often.
No, I brought him up today. I can't remember the last time I brought him up.
He doesn't get mentioned very often.
DB Dog 21 says Tillman should be benched. 3 times I heard Flacco yelling at him pre-snap to either move or stop. He looks lost at times, half running routes, etc. Bad. Brody's bottom line says Kevin's offense won't work in flag football. Jay, have you seen Nick Chubb? He's running on 2 wheels right now.
Apparently it's not reviewable.
Okay.
According to AI, pitch hitting the batter. This is not reviewable. It's just called. No, that's a hit by pitch. I'm sorry. Carry on.
Go ahead, Mike.
Miss Bell 70 says, I asked yesterday why wait for 2026 QBs whose stats won't match Shador's. Bull said college doesn't count. Bull, why not? And what does count?
Not what I said. I didn't say college doesn't count. I said the stats don't really matter. Stats in college don't prove a guy is going to be good or bad in the pros. I mean, is that news? Most of the all-time leading passers in college history were not good pros.
Bailey Zappi has the most yards ever in college.
Yeah, so did Tommy Chang forever. And
Timmy Chang.
Timmy Chang, sorry.
Dragon the Abandoner says, Jerry Jeudy has as much talent as anyone. It's not a talent issue with him.
That's incorrect.
Kirk Davis says, this is why I love this show. The passion for the sports you brothers have is amazing. Going back and forth, the show is amazing and knowledgeable.
True.
Shaz says, please, Jay, let some other people talk for once.
No. So I have something for you. I have something for you.
Yeah.
A batted ball. This is even more vague than the original description. Get your own show. That's what I said. A batted ball that goes off the hitter can be reviewable.
Yeah.
Only if it's part of an interference or boundary.
Okay.
And that was not.
That's why they couldn't review it.
So, but in other situations, it says simply hitting the batter by itself without affecting a fielder's play is not automatically reviewable. But that automatically
doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. The wording is weird, but They didn't review it, so maybe that's why. It might give them some liberty, some grace on that.
All right, next up, Crypto Life Bag says, leave Jay alone. His insight and knowledge is insurmountable. Everyone has strong attributes that contribute to the show. Jay's awesome.
Can I respond to that real quickly?
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you. We talked about this off the air last week. It's my view, and this is just my opinion through doing this for 38 years, but particularly a debate and a discussion format show. I'll just give the viewers some insight. Sometimes monologues can get tedious. Like, I want to challenge Leroy. When Leroy comes on and he goes, he's like, we were texting about it. It's like we ask one question and he goes for 20 minutes. I think that's on us. We can interrupt and challenge him, and that's what causes high volume discussion and debate. So in my view, and from doing a debate show for 10 years, what the ratings and the research implicitly showed, even though I pushed back at it on it at times, shows that have energy between the hosts always rate higher. The shows that don't rate as high, and PTI is the only example that I can give you that defies this logic, are the shows where they're just one guy talks, and then the other guy talks, and then they move to another topic, and then the one guy talks. So what I'm trying to do is to spur aggressive conversation. That's what I'm trying to do. And I think sometimes we hit the mark. I think we do. Today was a good example. I thought we had some pretty heated discussions today that, according to research, are more watchable than four guys just politely talking one turn at a time. So that's the method behind my madness.
We got time for Bull's story?
We got a couple more super chats, then Bull's story. Dragon the Abandoner says, you guys are so in love with the Lions, they've won nothing.
Facts.
That's true.
Facts.
Elijah Moore hasn't done anything in Buffalo. He has 25 yards.
Who said Elijah Moore?
We don't.
No,
stinks.
Bull, I think G referenced him 2 years ago.
But
he wasn't talking about this version.
But I'm no Elijah.
He's garbage.
I'm no Elijah Moore apologist.
No
Topo42 says, any chance Stefanski is calling these first 5 or 6 games very conservatively on offense? Then we'll see him let it rip when the schedule opens up.
No, because we might have a different quarterback then.
That ain't the way it works.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that ain't the way it works. You better call what you got.
Don't
James
leave anything
Mace
in the tank.
Jr. says, Dustin, what do you think about the USC quarterback, Maeva?
I haven't seen him. I haven't seen USC play. Honestly, I've heard people talk about him.
Yeah,
I've not had a chance to watch.
I checked out his last game.
What'd you think?
I will say this, guys. By the way, just on this, because Bull and I were talking about this yesterday, and you were asking me who I thought was like the next, out of this class, who'd be the next great NFL quarterback.
Let me guess.
So I was texting with Matt Miller, Bleacher Report. No, excuse me, ESPN now.
Right.
He used to be at Bleacher Report back in the day.
Matt's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. So I said, "Who's your top quarterback?" I said, I told Bull Nussmeier, and
he said Mendoza, didn't he?
He said Mendoza is interesting. He has him as like top 3 right now. Okay. He agreed with me on Nussmeier, and then Mateer. From
who's out now with the surgery on his hand.
Just got hurt,
3 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, it's not for the season.
Yeah, he's out like a month.
You mean that's Baker Jr.?
He
plays like,
but he's 6'2".
He's got that chip on his
6'2",
shoulder.
though.
Hey, did you guys hear the audio? Baker talking to Ibuka about the don't use one hand, don't disrespect my footballs.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was funny.
Yeah. All right, next one. James Mace Jr. says, if the Browns beat the Lions, will that change your outlook on the entire season?
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our Mac Dog says, I think the Lions will win, but I'm expecting a competitive game with no missed field goals, fumbles, or interceptions. Browns will win if Judkins runs for 100 yards. The offense scores 3 touchdowns, and the defense gets 3 or more sacks.
Well, that's a crazy game.
Brad Schrack says, I am a 52-year-old lifelong Browns fan from Zanesville and an Air Force vet that now lives in Texas. I want you to know I really appreciate the show. It is my piece of Ohio every day, so thank you. Thank you for your service, Brad. Appreciate you. James Mace Jr. said, G. Bush, did you ever figure out Coach Stefanski PPF?
Oh, yeah.
We need that.
If Coach Stefanski, I'm not gonna waste that. Come back tomorrow. Yeah. I will have a PFF grade for Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, I can't wait for that. Do we have time for Bull story?
We got 3 more. Hold on.
Oh, damn.
The Hot Saucer says, UCSS is the best sports show, period. You guys are amazing. And he says the Cavs, thank you, Hot Saucers. And he says the Cavs also signed Killian Haynes to a training camp deal. He will most likely be with the Cleveland Charge this year.
Pumped for that.
Yep.
Ada Kui says, what do you think about CJ, GJ, Chauncey Gardner Jr. What's it?
I don't even know what language you're speaking now, Mike.
No, he's the Texan safety. He was on the Eagles. He gets flagged every time he hits somebody. CJ Deuce, they call him. What's his name, G? Help me out here.
I don't know him.
Gardner Johnson. Chauncey
CJ
Gardner.
You said it like it was Timmy Chang. I said, who's Chimchi Chomsy?
Jake Chauncey.
Would you sign him if you were the Browns for safety help?
Yeah.
Okay, and last
What
one,
you mean?
Miss Bell says, will the rookies, meaning DG and Shador, have the same rules if they come in Stefanski's offense?
Oh, bro, it's going to even be worse. That's the problem. That's why I don't want the locks on. Don't put the locks on Flacco, because if they got the locks on a veteran, what you think they got the locks on the rookie? They're like, listen, you throw it to him this play. Throw it to him the second play, and we checking it down at all times.
All right, is that the last
that's
one?
it for Super Chats. Both.
We don't do the story in a minute. No way.
If not, give us a little teaser, because I got a story that I'll tease too.
Maybe we can get some people to join the club here.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, listen, it's not
paid memberships.
We've been talking about it. It's not the greatest story in the history of
You did say it's a great
funny.
story.
It's funny what happened, but I'm like, this is not like an
Have
all
we built it up and now it's going to be a
I'm just
letdown?
upset because I actually been waiting 24 hours to hear this story, and I'm not going to hear it because I have to go in 37 seconds. And we wasted a lot of time today, so sucks.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
We got two very entertaining stories. Bull says it's arguably the greatest story he's ever told. It's
Never.
coming up in overtime.
I'll have to watch it back.
If you want to be a member of the Ultimate
Paid
Cleveland Sports
membership.
Show, you can
Nah,
join
you
for
got to
$4.99 a month.
You really got to go?
Peace.